You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
You dang Skippy. Woo! It's us. It's
It is.
Thursday night.
We got 5 viewers. There were already people waiting in the queue.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Nice.
We were
Yeah,
just
sorry.
chatting, catching up
Yeah.
about family.
Yeah, we were talking about stuff, and then we're like, "Oh, it's time to go."
Yeah, we were just
talking
catching
college
up.
admissions and all that.
Oh yeah, good stuff though. All good stuff.
Rob and I both have kids that are college age-ish.
Yeah.
Rob is celebrating his daughter.
My daughter Emmy, she just found out I don't know if I told the story before. Florida has something called Bright Futures for y'all that aren't here in Florida, and it's if you have a certain GPA and you have a certain number of volunteer hours in high school, and you get a certain score either on the SAT or the ACT, you can get prepaid tuition covered. Either at 75% if you have a certain requirements, or 100% if you meet the top requirements. And one of those is your ACT or your SAT score. So my daughter killing it on the GPA. She's got 3 times as many volunteer hours as they require, hundreds and hundreds of hours while she's been in high school. And then she just needed to either hit the SAT or the ACT. Took the ACT about 3 months ago, missed it by a couple of points. It was the first time she'd ever taken one of those prepared exams. So she went and did it again last week, and she got her scores back yesterday and hit the number she needed to hit. So she's 100% funded for any Florida college she wants to go to, any state university. She's going to have 100% tuition paid. So real proud of her. So
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
my boy did through his high school. He's 2 years ahead of her.
Yep.
And he ended up having all the necessities for the 100%, except for that standardized testing score. That thing has gotten hard.
It is. Yeah, it's not
It's
easy.
very hard.
Yeah.
So he got the 75% scholarship, and we're celebrating here
Nice.
in Cabrera House
Oh yeah.
because he just got his admissions letter to USF.
Nice.
So he got accepted to USF, which is where my wife and I went together.
Very good.
We had him while we were at USF.
So he's a bachelor.
So
There
he
you go.
was practically born
There
at
you go.
USF.
Nice.
So he's finishing up his 2 years of HEC. So he did the community college thing. Really got his GPA
Smart,
up.
super smart to do that, man.
Yeah, he's a
Congratulations,
3.7 something for GPA
Nice.
doing the
Yeah.
engineering path.
Mhm.
So he's been accepted into USF, College of Engineering.
Sweet.
Which is
and
hard.
We got a buddy of ours, Rob. You met him. We played board games with him at the roller rink. He is an engineer for a local engineering company, and they're offering him a paid internship.
Okay, I remember he was talking to him while
Yeah.
he was there. Yep.
He asked us yesterday for the resume
Nice.
and the transcripts. So in January, he should be having his paid
Awesome.
internship, already starting in the electrical engineering field.
Way to go.
And
So like
a little
high fives, good
yeah,
dads.
high
All the way
fives,
around.
dads.
Frick yeah, good dads. We did it.
Insider baseball there, Carlos. The USF engineering program is actually the hardest engineering program to get into in the state.
Oh,
Really?
let's change schools, son. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, the USF, the school he got into.
Yeah.
Well, he said
USF's the
it's gonna be
hardest.
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm all about like C's get degrees. I need the easy classes.
Yeah. No, so it's
Good
good,
deal.
and yeah, that's awesome. And insider baseball, I guess, for your younger kids that are not quite there yet, more than likely in the next 10 years, the SAT and ACT will no longer exist.
Okay.
That'll be a good day.
Yeah. I can.
But
live with that.
more and
'Cause I
more
remember when I
colleges
took it-
are doing away with
When
it.
I took it, the scores I got were high enough to get 100% scholarship through Bright Future.
Yeah.
But I think
Oh, it's
they
been
bumped
jacked
it
up a lot.
Yeah.
over
Oh,
and
like
over.
10
changed
times. They changed
Yeah.
it like 10 times. They change it like every year.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Pretty much.
The legislature fiddles with it every year.
And the boy had to do so many hours of community service.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, I forget it's 100 and something hours, I think. And
And now
luckily
they
my
just
daughter,
they
yeah,
just changed it again. That it's not even community service now. Like they're because the labor force is struggling and they need
Oh.
workers. They've now approved actual paid work to count towards the community service hours.
That's
Really?
important.
Interesting.
And I think that should be the case.
No, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah,
It's
No.
community service.
I'm sure that I am either. Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
Look,
I could go work at McDonald's and it counts towards getting the scholarship. That
But
whereas the
here's
other
how
kids
I
are working
see
for
it.
like AmeriCorps and Job Corps and those kind of things. Yeah.
coming from where I come from, I was participating in paying my mom, helping my mom pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
Right, growing up from like 16 years old and on. There was no way that I could have gone to USF,
Had a job.
had a real job, and done volunteer
Volunteer.
hours,
Yeah.
right, in order to meet
During
the
your high
needs of the
school
scholarship.
years. But were
Right.
you working at 14, 15, 16?
Yeah, I was at the roller rink,
Okay.
and part of my paycheck went to helping my mom pay the
Yeah.
mortgage.
Yeah.
So like you think about those families where the kids they're not going to be able to do an internship. I couldn't afford to do an internship. So
Yeah.
I see it
It's
from a different
different, though.
perspective.
Yeah.
It's different, but hey,
Yeah.
we didn't come to talk about scholarships for kids.
Talk about games.
But we had Diego joining in here. Diego
Woo.
can confirm, really difficult. Graduated from USF Engineering. Yeah.
Oh,
go.
my
Yeah.
man!
There you go.
So
It is.
I need to
It's-
sit with
It'll
him.
link up with Diego.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
You know what's
it's-
cool is
it's-
Dominic. We had him on a few weeks ago. HMGS
Yeah,
Dominic.
2 weeks ago, I think. Yep.
Yep. He graduated USF College of Engineering.
It's a good one. That's great.
Yeah.
USF has some programs that are top notch, world class, better than UF. Like the research dollars that university gets, like it's Research One University. So the biomedical engineering and medical stuff that they get, it dwarfs what UF gets. So it's USF's got some good stuff to it.
We got international
Good
now.
morning. Good
Edmund
morning,
England coming in. Good morning to you. Top of the morning.
We're getting ready to go to bed, and you're waking up. That's always weird. Yeah,
Are you having your morning beer? We're having our evening
Our
beer.
morning beer. Yeah.
Vodka and Sprite.
There you go. All right.
Let's talk board game Ian. Before we open up the phone lines,
Yeah.
we wanted to go through and give it the beans.
Give it the beans.
Give it the
Okay.
beans. Now, Wayne and I are probably more the experts on
Yes.
this title that we're about to bring up here.
I got a crash course.
Robert got a crash course, and I'm
Literally.
looking to hear from you.
Literally 10 minutes before I got here, about 15 minutes before the show, and Carlos was like, "Let me get you quick learner on this." I was like, "This is quick and easy enough. Let's just do it." So we just plowed through it. 10
did.
minutes. Yep.
10 minutes.
In the footsteps of Darwin.
Yes, In the Footsteps of Darwin, a title published by Sorry We Are French.
Of course.
The designer is G. Grard
Oh, don't try it. You're gonna hurt
and
yourself.
M. Verdier. Is that
Yeah.
French, Rob?
I don't know. Let me see.
Yeah, French guy.
shoot.
Let Rob do it.
G. Gerard and M. Verdier.
Right off the bat, folks, look at the inside of this box.
It's all
Like,
gorgeous.
I'm
Little
trying to
glare.
find it.
There
There's
you
a
go.
little glare here, but it's all
See
like
the animals.
pencil etching of animals on the inside of the box.
Pretty
This
cool.
is the cover. It's kind of a like a nautical theme. I think of, and I don't know about you, Wayne. What I really enjoy about this game is that one of my favorite movies is Master and Commander.
Oh yeah, love that movie.
Right, and it's a great like Age of Sail naval battling movie. But there's
Yeah, the best.
also
Yep.
there's also the friend who he's like a doctor. And his goal in
Right.
life is to like
Naturalist and
he's a natural. Yeah, he's going around sketching stuff, and that's kind of the feeling I get when I'm playing this game. And this what really drew me into this theme.
Absolutely.
In the basics, we'll go for the give it the beans. BEANS. B is for basics. The basics is there was a lot of mechanisms in this one. Tile placement, tile selection,
Kind of set collection.
end game scoring.
Yeah.
Rondelle-ish when it comes to
Yeah.
the Beagle, the boat that Darwin's on, moving around on the board. You're going to be taking your turns to select a tile off the board. When you select the tile off the board, it's going to represent an animal. It's going to be one of 4 different types of animal, either bird, mammal, arthropod, or reptile.
Or human, kind of. I mean,
Well, those are inspired characters.
different things? Okay, I
Inspired
gotcha.
characters.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then there's regions that they're going to represent. It's either going to be the Americas, Africa, I think it's kind of like in Asia, Europe, Asia, and then Oceania, which is like Australia, New
Yep.
Zealand-ish. So it's going to represent one of those 4 regions. So
Regions.
you're picking a
Yep.
tile and you're placing it where it belongs. It's a bird from Asia. It
Yep.
goes on that one space.
dedicated spots. Yeah.
Dedicated spot for that animal. The goal is going to be to pick animals that give you points in different ways. You can get points just by having points on the tile itself. Any tiles that are that are visible at the end of the game with laurels on them are going to give you points. You're also going to get points for the chart symbols, but the chart symbols are only going to give you points based on the number of compasses that you've gotten at the end of the game. So you also want to pick tiles that give you compasses that you add to your compass row because you're going to multiply that across your charts. And then also the tiles are going to give you guides. Guides are used to be the luck mitigating factor. It allows you to move the Beagle 1 space forward or 1 space back, or it allows you to reset the offering that you have at that moment with 3 new tiles and replace the old ones with those 3, and then you get to pick from there. And then the characters, because there's going to be 3 spots for characters that inspire you. You may be able to select some characters from the board. They give you points. They give you guides. They score in different ways. There's also a Darwin figure, like a bust. I know.
What is that again?
And
What is that again?
Give me an idea of how to say that better.
Figure. Yeah. Love the ideas.
A miniature of Darwin. And the first player starts with Darwin. Whoever ends the game with Darwin gets 2 bonus points at the end of the game. However, there's a crown symbol on the different animals, and these are emblematic animals, as they call them. These tend to be your toucans, your
Moose.
Yes, like American moose, the Nile crocodile. These are like cool animals, have the emblematic symbol, and that means Darwin goes to that player. A fig what? Says Sodak.
Figure?
A figure.
Fig Newton.
Yeah, those are yummy. If you place
Darwin, not Newton.
if you place Darwin, the crown symbol, you get Darwin. If you hold on to Darwin until the end of the game, it's 2 points into the game. The other way to get points is by filling your board. Your board is a 4x4 grid. If you ever fill a column or a row, you get to do what's called publication. Publish a publication, which gives you 5 points at the end of the game. So that's what? How many opportunities for that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 opportunities?
I didn't even ask if you.
Yeah.
You can only do each one once, though. If you add
Correct.
another
6.
set of tiles,
Three
okay,
rows, three columns. So
Four
No,
by
no,
four.
4.
4x4.
4x4.
Oh, it's
looking
4.
at
You're right.
it.
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
4x4.
yeah,
Yep, so
eight.
eight.
Right. That's
8
right.
times you can get these 5-point bonuses.
Yep.
And at the start of the game, everybody starts with what's called a theory. A theory is an end game scoring mechanism, and you can have by the end of the game up to 6 theories, and you can get more theories every time you cover a tile with an animal with another animal. So you cover up the old one. You also get to pick a new theory from the theory display from the theory market. Those are going to be things that give you bonus points for every American animal you have, bonus points for every visible guide symbol on your board, bonus points for every theory you have. So all these different ways, bonus points for how you fill your board. So like for each one of these spaces that are filled, you get bonus points for that.
Like a
So there's
bottom
lot of
quadrant,
in-game
top
scoring there.
quadrant. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
And there's like 40 of those. Or
Yeah.
something,
Oh, yeah.
There's like 30 or there's a ton. Yeah.
That's something I'm just noticing. Even the tiles you play with, we're only playing with half of the tiles. I mean, so there's-
2/5
In a 2-player
Okay,
game,
yeah.
you basically it's like was it 12 per player plus 9 initial
Plus the
or
9
something like that.
starting.
Yeah, plus
Okay.
the 9 starting. And what I
What
the
else am I
basics
missing on
there-
basics?
No, I think that's it. The only thing I would say is like what I really kind of really like about this game is there's more than just enjoyment and summary is you mentioned all these different things. There's rondel, there's set collection, there's all these kind of different mechanisms, but they're kind of like, and this is not a negative thing, they're kind of like the Diet Coke of those mechanisms because they're all very simple. They're like the simplest version of that mechanism. And they're all strung together, and that's what makes the game so sort of smooth in its playability. Is that in the basic of it, it's just really simple. It's the rondel is just moving the ship around based on how far away the tile was you picked from the ship. I pick a tile 3 ways, I move the ship 3. And you have this grid that you fill, and you have these end game story. And it's all very straightforward.
Yeah, and that gets us to the enjoyment, right? I'll start off, Wayne. You brought it up, and I'll continue it. The mechanisms, there's a lot of different little mechanisms in here, and you said they're like the Diet Coke or the basic of the mechanism. Man, this is a great way to bring people into the hobby because it's going to get them I can see the spokes going out from this game to so many other games, right? So when you score your charts, you're going to base that score based on how many compasses you've gotten. So by selecting this tile, you get another compass. So then it makes all those charts more valuable. So you start seeing that engine growing, like, oh, I have a chart engine going because I want to get compasses and then cover them up with charts because then my compasses times. So you see the spokes that are going to come from this on the different things that folks will be able to learn. And kind of, I love to teach by pointing to past games.
Yeah.
If this is one of the first games I teach someone, I'm going to be able to go into other games and point back to say, okay, remember how in this game it did this? I really enjoyed what you said there, Wayne, with regards to the distilled, just bare bones, bread and butter mechanisms. Go ahead. What'd you enjoy, Wayne?
The simplicity of gameplay, I think I've talked a lot about the game schooling and homeschooling and sort of not homeschooling, but game schooling is making games fun, but bringing education to it. This game's got that in droves because the whole first part of the rule book talks about the voyage of the Beagle and Darwin's journey and all this stuff. And then they give you a supplemental book with like a good paragraph or more about each of the animals that are portrayed in the book. So yeah, you can play the game for fun. You can play the game for just real quick and get it done, but you can then work in that educational aspect. And I have a 9-year-old, this is right up his alley. We're gonna love to play that. He's gonna look at the animal and kind of read about the animal and those kind of things. So I think it bridges the gap between games for fun and games with educational value as well. So I love games that do that. So I love the trekking games and trekking through history in the world and her story and those kind of things. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that it's really quick. This is literally, you guys played it in 10-15 minutes. You can play it 20-30 minutes, probably 4-player for 35. It's really fast. So this is a game that a family can play right after dinner, before bedtime, and crank it out.
Rob, any enjoyments in your first play?
That'd be my thing. Again, we knocked it out literally. I mean, you taught it and we played it in 15 minutes. We were rushing a little bit. I wasn't thinking too much about it.
We haven't scored yet, so we'll find out how it
went.
went.
Score live here in just a minute. But so I was rushing through. I wasn't making deep decisions, but again, the time is awesome. You could pull this out, teach it to somebody at game day while you're waiting for people to arrive, while you're waiting for somebody to finish up a game. You could stretch it and probably play it. I mean, I just was looking at the box. It advertises 30 minutes. I mean, you could probably stretch it to 30 minutes, but Jim says 10 to 15 minutes. I don't understand. Yeah, it's 10 to 15 hours, James. That's
where
your
I mean, I can see this
there,
if like this is also kind of a game that if you're hanging out with a few other couples, you can break out this game, kind of be sitting around talking, drink a glass of wine casually while playing this game. So maybe it could take 30-40 minutes to play the game while doing other things, because there is some thinking, but you really don't need to think in between turns as much as just waiting, thinking during your turn as much.
And I'm a thinky gamer and I'm a slow gamer. I know it. I've done things over the years to try to combat that. But this one, I mean, like I say, I probably could have thought a little bit into it and drew it out another 5 minutes. But we literally, I mean, after the teach, I think we probably played it in about 12 minutes, 10 minutes. And
you got here, it was 15. It was 15 till. You got here, it was 15 till.
Yeah.
And we were done by 9 o'clock on the dot.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when we said hi to Wayne.
That was with saying hi to each other, chatting a little bit, and then you were like, "Hey, let's try to get you a few rounds of this game in."
I was just gonna demo a few rounds.
Yeah, and we played a whole game. So yeah.
And I think another enjoyment aspect of it too is because a lot of times when you get those 15 to 30-minute games, it's in a little tin or it's just a little couple of cards. This is like a full-on board game and we'll get to the aesthetics next, but with great production value that I like. It's super quick to set up, but it's not just a deck of cards. And so it's a 15 to 30-minute game you can play that fits that kind of desire to have table presence.
We'll go right into aesthetics, because I mean, I was having trouble not getting into aesthetics when we talk about enjoyment, because that's such a big part. But go ahead and kick us off, Wayne.
Well, first of all, like Carlos, when you picked up the box from Amazon,
holy moly!
Yeah.
I was like, how heavy is this game? Like, how is this tiny little game weigh more than like other game boxes? So one, the production value is insane. The cardboard tokens are double, triple thick. The artwork is gorgeous. The board layout, everything about it screams well thought out, well produced. The iconography is super easy to understand. It's beautiful. The artwork is amazing.
Yeah,
that's the first piece. Is the actual naturalistic watercolor pencil with watercolor on it.
It's definitely got a pencil, maybe
pencil sketching with
mm-hmm.
like a watercolor finish to the coloring. It's just gorgeous. It's like it's what I grew up looking at as a kid. I was that kid. I remember we would go to like the thrift store to buy clothes and stuff. You'd find me as a small kid in the books.
Oh yeah,
right. Because you remember in the well, if anybody's been to like the thrift stores growing up as a kid, there was always a section of old books that people would drop off, and they tended to be like old college books and stuff that people would just donate away. I'd be that kid buying them to flip through the pages at home.
Look at the pictures.
Right. Like I used to love just looking at the pictures of the animals and stuff. And this is what it reminds me of. It's like an old, natural sciences book.
Yeah.
And man, they did not skimp, because every tile is different.
Yeah.
And the 5-point tiles. So we got these 5-point tiles that you get whenever you do a publication. They're worth 5 points. Every single one of these has a different illustration for no reason.
Yeah, even though it doesn't matter, right? Yeah,
there's no reason.
They're all the same, yeah.
And so many companies would just do the same.
Yeah, and the little portraits of like your fellow travelers that help you reset. I forget
the guides.
The guides.
Every guide is different.
Every guide's different. So, and it's all very representative too. So,
yeah,
that was that stood out. Like, these are not necessary, just not necessary to do it, but they did it.
And even the beagle, just this the one. I think this is the only wooden piece in the game. Nice, big, thick, chunky wooden. Oh, I don't see. Show it there. The ship. I think is that screen printed. I mean, it's not. I don't even think it's stickered. Is it?
No, I think it's screen
No, it's
printed
actually screen
onto
printed on
the
there.
wood, double-sided
Yeah.
screen printed ship.
And these boards. I mean, show these boards. I mean, this is
Oh,
actually
yeah,
this was one of the
they
prettiest
fold it
things.
from a little book. Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Because everybody gets their notebook to fill in their sketches. Yeah, slide it this way. And you can see it's quality cardstock, folds really easily. Like they did a great job with the folding. And it looks like a leather-bound notebook. And everyone gets a different one with a different animal on the front. I mean, component quality, production value on this game is insane. You get a cloth, screen-printed cloth bag for no reason. There's no bag pulling in here.
No?
This is literally
It's
just
just
the
a
whole
store.
the
It's like to
token
store the
storage.
little chips and stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like instead of giving us plastic bags to
Don't-
put the stuff
Don't use
in,
it during the game, but
this is your storage bag.
I was blown away. I said it once. How heavy the damn game is in the box. Like for a tiny game that's 15 to 30 minutes. I'm like, this is hefty. I mean,
you guys
this,
both picked it
that
up.
weight.
What was the price tag on this?
$39.99.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
The box comes with a cardboard insert. Let me see if I can't get that camera back. You can see the cardboard insert here has a slot for your tiles. So it kind of holds all the tiles, a place for the theories, the end game scoring, and then all the boards go here and a little baggie on top, and boom. So it's got an insert, built-in insert.
Nice.
And again, beautiful art all the way around.
It reminds me, I would say on the level of like Wingspan, but I don't know. This may even be a tiny step up from Wingspan. Some of the little things in there. It's really well done. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me
art-wise,
it makes me kind of want to look into more. It makes me want to look into more games from the Sorry We're Not French, because if that's their MO of production value, then I would think that it's probably pretty, like all their games are probably like that.
and a
Yeah.
scoring pad. Mosaic didn't even come with a scoring pad. Whoops. There is a scoring pad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Production quality, so aesthetics.
It's
uh,
like through the roof. Yep.
There's no negatives. I found no
negatives?
negatives.
No.
Other
I
than
got
my,
I got
Wayne's
one.
All right,
Oh.
Wayne's got one.
my box
one.
was
I got a
damaged
negative.
when I got it.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
And
okay.
I think it has to do with the weight of the box. The insert got a little ruffled up, so I had to
Oh,
kind of
okay.
straighten
No,
it
I
back
didn't have that
out.
problem. The only negative I have, is so when you set up your play board, it's the 9 initial tiles and then 12 per player. And I had one game where I was desperately trying to find a North American insect, and it wasn't in the game
At all.
at all.
Right, because you're only
Because-
you're only setting up 12 tiles per player plus the 9.
Plus the 9.
So that, Rob,
And
like
so
you
there's-
see, there's a
Yeah,
whole
there's
stack
a whole
over
bunch
there.
over there.
It could,
Right.
That could be all North America.
Okay.
right.
That could be,
It
or
could
all
be.
American.
Yep.
Shuffle better.
Yeah, shuffle better. So I did
Random
have
better.
a game. I played it 3-4 times, 2-player, and I think this is definitely more of an issue 2-player, because as you add more players, all those 4-player game, all those tiles are in there, right?
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
it's 12 per player. So I think the negative I have in a 2-player game, it is possible that one of the tiles you're looking for may not be in the game, and so there has to be a point of, at what point do you keep hunting for that, or do you pivot to not looking for it? And so I actually immediately, like, not a house rule, but I said, like, you can use those. My God, the guides, right? The guides
Yeah.
can help you wipe a row out. And so I always said, well, I would just house rule and say in a 2-player game, you can use that guide to look through the tiles that are not in the game. And if the tile you need is not in the game, then you can shuffle it into the tiles that are being used and swap them out.
Breaking games here.
Breaking
Go ahead.
games, yeah, I know. But that I mean, could be. It's very nitpicky,
Sorry,
right? That is
Anakin.
like,
You're going down a path I cannot follow.
no. Well, as I'm saying, I think it's only an issue in 2-player game where there are a decent amount of tiles that aren't there. So the negative could be in a 2-player game. It is possible that a tile you're looking for to complete a row or column isn't in the game. That's the only negative I can come across, and that's not a big negative.
I disagree with Wayne on that one for this reason. 2 players, it's 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, you don't get your
Yeah,
one
yeah,
tile.
right.
You don't get to
Right.
score that one column or fill
It's
that
5 points.
row. Right? That happened to me in freaking Arc Nova.
Well, you've been playing
Okay?
for 2 hours.
Okay, no, 3+
Three,
hours
4
of
hours?
Arc
Yeah.
Nova, and I'm like, I need an American crocodile. Like, oh my god, I need. And Rob's like, oh, I discarded that like eight
or
hours
the
ago.
or the corn
Like,
you needed to make bourbon and distill.
And
yeah,
distill.
exactly. There you go. Distilled.
Right.
Yep.
that feeling that
get
Wayne
it.
is describing means nothing in a 20-minute game.
Yeah, 15, 20 minute games.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I just felt like as a negative, like as a reviewer,
You had to
we're
find a
trying to give our
negative.
like you have to find at least a little something to say like that could bother people. It didn't necessarily bother me, and I wouldn't necessarily do that house rule. I just say that might be a rule that I might use to fix it if that became an issue with multiple plays of a 2-player game. But it's just I think that I might add to my teach if I'm playing a 2-player game with someone in the future. I'm like, hey, realize that it may not be in the game. So think about if after a couple of turns you haven't seen the tile you need, pivot to something else that, because it's such a fast game anyway, right? But that's really the only negative I can think of, like is, a tile might not be there in a 2-player game or maybe 3-player, but it's definitely there in a 4-player because all the tiles are in. So,
Well, thank you, because I could not think of many negatives other than like what Rob would say.
It's like, my negative.
Yeah,
so we can all say it
too
together.
light.
1,
Too
2,
light.
3.
Too light.
kind of like
Yeah, I mean it's light. I enjoy light games. Come on,
We do.
you do.
I
You
still
do.
do like James. I mean this one's pretty enjoyable. This one I can almost. I mean we're gonna find out in a minute when we score this thing, and I don't know if you were trying to let me do stuff. I know you
No.
you do that sometimes, but
No, I was taking stuff
were
that you were
okay.
needing.
You okay? All right.
I took birds.
You were
Look at
hate-
how many birds I
Hate
have.
drafting? Yeah, I've only
I
got
was
2
hate
birds.
drafting.
I think
You got
there
4
is a
birds, but-
little bit of, I think with replay plays, there's a little bit of depth here where you could
Yeah.
really start gaming it. a
Order of
little bit more.
operation matters. And I know we're in the negatives, like kind of touching back to enjoyment. I see a level of depth. I'm not talking, like Olympic sized pool depth.
Sure.
But maybe like the fun pool, the kiddie pool
Kiddie
depth,
pool, yeah.
right? Because this isn't super shallow. Your order of operation is going to matter. Yeah, you want that Japanese crane. I love that Japanese crane. It's got 3 points on it. But if I take that first, and instead later take the Eastern Imperial Eagle, which goes on top of the Japanese crane, that's 3 points I'm not going to get at the end of the game. So I want to make sure I'm taking animals in the right order. I want to get all my tokens and my guides and my compasses.
Yeah, you want to get compasses
early.
and tokens and then cover them up with points.
Cover them up with points, right? And then if I'm doing really good on the compass side, then I start doing the benefit cost analysis to decide if I take the animal with the chart and place it over an animal with points, will I net more points because I have more compi?
I guess we'll find out in a minute when we do the scoring, but I completely turned my brain off. I was just trying to cover my board, just trying to spread out, put as many things in as many places as I could. And I'm looking at ours. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots filled. I've got about 10 or 11.
But you've got
so-
2 publications,
Right. So
and
we'll
you
see.
have 3 theories,
We'll
which are
see.
endgame scoring.
You'll
You've got 3 compasses to my 1. So you see, everybody goes like a different way.
Yeah.
I know we're not talking enjoyment anymore, but that's part of what I enjoyed is that the game does have a level of depth, and it's perfect for light gaming, introductory gaming, filler gaming. Like if normally my filler would be what? It would be Point City, or Point Salad,
Yeah.
Salad.
or Biblios.
Biblios,
Right?
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
This
It's in
at
between,
5
probably.
players, this at 5 players is going to go with me and get played more. Because we can do this with 5 players. We paid 4 players today. I haven't done the full 5.
It's obviously not as mobile as those other 2 games. Those other 2 games, much smaller footprint, much smaller,
Right.
just a deck of cards or whatever.
This is a
but-
game day filler versus like I'm taking this to Epcot.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct. It's not going to be in my pocket.
But I think I
don't.
would say it's light, and I admit it's a very, very light game. It's not a negative. It's only a negative if you're don't like ever playing a game that's light. I guess it's a
Jim.
negative. But Jim, no, not Jim. Even Jim
But
plays
at
light
4
games.
players, Wayne, we got it done in
Yeah.
30 minutes.
That's great.
30 minutes
Love that.
flat
Fantastic.
with talking, with eating chicken wings and cubanitos. So we had a good time today. I was hoping to get 5 in, but Rob came late.
I was late.
I wanted to see how it would be at 5. I would imagine if at 2 players
minutes
we
more,
get it done
probably.
in 10 to 15. At 4 players we got it done at 30. I would imagine 5 players would be at about the 35, 40 minutes tops.
Yeah, at most.
Last
like
one,
that.
Yeah,
summary.
we're up to 9:30. So yeah, summary. Let's wrap them up.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll go quick. So it's try, buy, deny. I'm gonna say mixed. So for me, it's a total buy. Right. If you have a family, if you have young gamers, if you like family games, or if you like to have a really good filler in between heavy games, this is an absolute buy. Period. End of story. If you are a person that doesn't necessarily play, doesn't have children, doesn't have educational need, or doesn't have family gaming time, if you're just a heavy gamer and that's all you ever do is heavy gaming, try this because it may be just too light for you. But I think almost any gamer could put it on their shelf as a filler. Everyone needs you can't just well, you can, but you can't just constantly play 3 or 4 hour games back to back to back to back to back. Every now and then you want a little filler.
Not with an attitude like that, you can't.
Not exactly right. You need to fill it to fill time to like be able to jiggle tables and have different players around. So this is a great game to just kind of like cleansing the palate.
I even take it farther than that. I agree with everything you said, except for the try piece. I would still turn that into a buy, and I would turn that into a buy because we should be growing this hobby. Even if you are a heavy Euro gamer, right, and that's your lifestyle, that's what you choose to do, you should be selling this hobby to people that you know, friends and family. This is, to me, emblematic of what modern day gaming should be or is or can be. And it will be so easy to show it to others. Like, hey, I love heavy 3-hour games. Oh, you mean like Monopoly? No, let me show you this game. Let's play. And you can get going in less than 5 minutes on the rules, teach, and they'll start to see the depth. I mean, I to me, this is a solid buy. If I had, and again, this is what's hard, right? Because when we do if you do like a BGG rating, 1 to 5, it would be in
as
that
far as weight,
4.5. No,
no, 1 to 10 on weight.
1 to 10.
1 to 10.
It'd be in that 9 to 10 for me range.
Okay.
For this weight of game.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
this time of game.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would be in a 9 to 10.
Solid 8, 9. Yeah, it's in that 9.
You got 30 minutes. You got 4
it's
people.
A 9.
Right?
Yeah.
30 minutes, 4 people. This is the title that I'm going to pull out.
Okay. So I got a 10-minute crash course here, or a 5-minute crash course, 10-minute play. I am going to put it on the buy as well. So after one play, and you know my opinion on light games, but I see completely what Wayne is saying. For heavier gamers, this is not something that a heavier gamer is going to pull out all the time. It's not something they're going to enjoy playing all the time. But going kind of harkening back to something Carlos was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
I love games that are building blocks for things you see in those more complex games. And this is a game. The price, when you mentioned it, $39.99, I know that's not a huge amount, especially in today's market, and especially with these components and the way that this game is done.
Yeah.
For this light of a game, there are so many other games that you can pick up for $19.99, $25, $30. So, I mean, this gets on the high end there. So that is for me, that would be the one thing that kind of puts it on that borderline of the try or buy. But I would say the great thing about this is we talked about there are 4 or 5 little mechanisms in this that are all done at entry-ish level. And if you get somebody to play this and then they like one of the particular mechanisms, the rondelle, the set collection, whatever, then you can say, okay, I've got more games for you like that. So now that you kind of understand how that works, I can step you up into something a little bit, Ticket to Ride, or one of those games that's just one more step up. And so this one, a lot of those little pocket $14.99, $21.99 games that you might pick up at Target are usually just one mechanic. Sushi Go is going to teach you drafting. That's my go-to game to teach people card drafting. That kind of stuff. Those games are cheaper, but they're pretty much going to give you one mechanism. This is going to give you 3 or 4 of those mechanisms at an entry level. So the value could be there that this would teach you a wider range of stuff. So
I like your guys'
you
points.
Heard it from
you
us.
sold me. It's a buy.
Sold you? Is it going to a buy?
I think we all went
across the board.
Buy.
Bye.
Yeah.
We're like in sync here,
I was
right?
I was a buy, but I
that,
was like, I could be like, I was
that
totally a
Backstreet or
buy.
NSYNC?
I think it's Backstreet Boys.
Is Backstreet?
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
We need to get that on the soundboard for when the 3 of us.
Bye.
Bye.
That's funny. Yeah.
All right, that's our review on it. Diego's got a great question because I struggled with this before we even started the show.
While you pull it up,
I
hit the
struggled
phones.
with this.
Hit the phones. We're right on the phones.
Well,
Or are you gonna wait?
Yeah. No,
All right,
we'll
all
score.
right.
We'll score.
Okay.
Before we wrap up this, what game can you compare Darwin to? The reason, man, I'm telling you what, I cannot think of a game that Darwin would replace for me. That it would be something, because when I think about comparing games, I ask myself, do I need this game because I already have this game, right?
Yeah, it's tough because it has like 3 or 4 different. It has like 3 or 4 different mechanisms in it. So you would say like, okay, well, it's got the tableau building like King Domino,
of a Cascadia,
right?
like I'm laying tile.
But no, but then you have the
Cascadia.
rondelle, and you have the end game scoring, and you have the sort of the. It's tough. That's a tough one.
I can't.
It's kind of a unique. It's a little bit of a unique game, which I think why that maybe speak to why we're all 3 of us going, wow, this is kind of cool because it is it has all the mechanisms you've seen in a million other games, but it has like just slices of a bunch of them.
Yeah, I can't think of any popular ones. There was a game I don't even know where I got it for free somewhere. It might have been at one of the Dice Tower events or CMON. It's called Bottle Cap Vikings. It's a little pocket
I think I
game.
still have mine.
Okay, I played it a couple times, and it's got a little bit of the feel of this. It's got a couple of different little entry-level mechanisms like this one. There's a little rondelle thing. There's some set collection, a little bit of engine building. So it gives me a little bit, but nobody's played Bottle Cap Vikings, so it's not going to
I just put mine away in my
did
small
you?
games.
Yeah.
So that's our review, our Give It the Beans of In the Footsteps of Darwin, published by Sorry, We Are French. Phone lines are open. 813-618-7099 is the number. Now we'll get to see if scoring the game impacts Rob's feelings on the game.
Oh,
We will score live.
Hearken to the
Gonna go
to the
harken
podcast.
back to it.
Yeah,
I wish I had a third or fifth camera that I can put down.
yeah.
I got to
get
get
on the top. You gotta get.
I need more
top-down
cameras.
camera.
I need
Yeah,
cameras on
We
cameras.
could fix that. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Just
can find. We can
We
find.
need to do
We
like
can
a
find
Patreon or something.
We just need some more like random neighbors to drop off equipment at Rob's house.
That's a story we're going to come to.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to manually score here.
Oh, phone call.
Oh, there we go. You can keep
Beans and
scoring.
Dice Podcast. State your name. Where you calling from?
Hello and good evening, gentlemen. This is Nick from Wesley Chapel.
I know that voice. Hey,
Salud.
Nick Oben.
Hey, Nick.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday, guys. How
Happy
you doing?
Thursday. Aren't you throwing axes this weekend or something?
I made it home just a little bit ago. Actually joined the show on the car ride home.
Nice.
Yep, tonight was week one of the fall season for us axe throwers. It was great, a lot of fun. But yeah, no, it's back home already. And yeah, well, actually, I'm not normally champing at the bit to get in here and be the first caller. But I really liked the conversation you guys were just having with In the Footsteps of Darwin.
Yep.
And I know you've already spent the first 38 minutes on that, but we're going to keep it on.
There we
keep it
go.
on for a
Nothing wrong
second.
with that. It's your show.
Carlos, if you've got do you have like a therapy music or like a sentimental moment or something?
Oh, he's got
I
one
need
for
a
that.
sentimental. Yeah.
About as good as it
So-
gets.
Something that Wayne said about this game did strike a chord with me. He said it's perfect to play with a family after dinner. You're hanging out, you have a little bit of time to kill or something, and that is something that we used to do. And I admit we have fallen off the wagon. Like we were game a day, right? We were the game a day family. It was crazy, and now pretty routinely. After dinner, that time in the evening that we all have, right? We got kids, we're home, whatever. Everyone just goes to their screen, right? My boys will go to their phone or the computer. I'll go to my phone or the computer, or maybe I got whatever's going on. So that comment got to me. It was kind of like, shit, maybe I do need this game, right? And then all three of you say it's a buy, right?
Yeah.
But Rob, I'm then with you. It's kind of like I have 300 board games. Do I need to spend $40 on another game? Or, and now this is kind of like Diego's question, I'm sitting here staring at my collection being like, what is that other 5 great family weight games that you recommend for that after dinner time and you have half an hour? I'm sitting here looking at, I got Takanoko, right? I got
How many players does Takanoko play?
Forbidden Island.
2, 3, 4.
4.
Four. Okay, keep going. See, there'll be a theme here. Keep going. Takanoko's 4.
Okay.
Marvel United, right? That's another great family. Like how many players?
Marvel United. Yep.
How many players is that?
4.
Oh, 4.
Four.
Okay. Keep going. There's a theme here.
All right, you want me to just keep picking 4-player games to make you?
Well, I mean, a lot of my favorite light family games
Are 4.
are 4. Unless you're Jamie Stegmaier, you don't tend to go to 5.
I don't know who needs 5.
Well, I have a lot of kids.
Yeah.
The Cabreras
You're
do.
unique case. You're
Because they
unique
need like a
The
10.
Opens,
Yeah, there's-
the Opens are a family of 5.
But do they have 5 gamers? Do you have 5 that would? Yeah, I guess you could.
Right. That's where this
They
game to
could,
me
they
like
could.
really stands out. It's that 5th player and still within that 35-minute time.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, Nick, I
And
totally
and
get
all
you.
the
Dude.
fun things. Go ahead.
Yeah, I get you, Nick, on the 300 games. Like I'm not in the realm of buy games, and I bought it last week live on the show because I heard 3 or 4 different podcasts raving about it. And then my brain, the first name, the gentleman from Austin,
Chris.
who called in, Chris, thank you. I'm bad with names. Chris from Austin called
Captain
in.
Gamer
Captain
on
Gamer
our Discord.
Captain
was
Gamer, yeah.
raving about the game, and so I'm like, all right, I've heard 3 or 4 different podcasts, the Family Gamers, the Game Schoolers, and a bunch of other people, and then this, the gentleman calls in, is raving about the game. I'm like, so I just pulled the trigger. I just didn't even think about it. But Nick, you can borrow my copy anytime you want. You can keep it, play with your friends, and decide if you want. You can take it as a try, and then decide if you want to spend the $40 on it for yourself.
Wayne, how many players was the Trekking Through History?
4, I think. Yeah,
4.
I think it goes. Yeah.
You see, like for me, it's that 5th player that really makes it stand out.
Ticket to Ride? How many Ticket to Ride?
Meanwhile, it's a good point. I'm sitting here looking at my collection is shamefully in shrink. So I've still got Her Story. I know Wayne, you mentioned that one earlier.
That's
Her Story plays
like
at 5, sitting in shrink. I got the Kickstarter rival from like months ago, Illiterati, the co-op real time thing. That one may only be 4. No, that's 5. 1 to 5. There you go. Jamie started a trend, so there's some 5 out there. Although I hear you,
there is. Yeah.
Most of the ones in that family weight are going to 4, which I will say does normally cover because it is likely either Lindsay or Joyce or both would sit out. So it's still mostly me and the boys at 3. But no, that's good. I'm calling in for my therapy session about how I used to play a game every day, and now Rob and I were playing Frosthaven last night. Which, by the way, spoiler alert, that's my game that I can talk about. We were playing Frosthaven last night, and I even said man, time flies. It's mid-September.
Yep.
And I mean, I went from game a day to a game a month, 2 games a month. Like basically, I play at the board game dates. I play board games at board game dates.
Yep.
That's pretty much it at this point.
And do you feel you're still trying to recover from that game a day? Like it burnt you out?
No, here's the thing. The first several months, and I mean months. It was probably March until I was like, okay, no, I'm no longer recovering. So yeah, January, February for sure, we were happy to not be forced to play a game, right? At that point. And then what happened though is because we purposely didn't play a game, on purpose, we're like, no, we're not playing a game. Let's do something else. It fell out of the cycle. It fell out of where it used to be last year. It was that it's easy actually to fit it in because we're so used to it. The opposite then happened where now it's hard to fit it in because we're not used to it anymore, and everyone just naturally goes off and does something else, right? And then before you know it, we do family dinner, and before you know it, one kid's gone, second kid's gone, daddy's gone, whatever, and now boom, we're all doing our own thing. So and in the mornings are definitely different. That's an actual, no kidding, logistical schedule thing. We have a middle schooler for the first time. So he has to be at school. Landis has to be at school by 7:50. So that number we talked about.
Pasco
that
County has some crazy start times for those middle
Yeah,
schoolers.
they do.
Yeah, so that used to be our game a day hack was we would half the time we would get a game in before school because kids the elementary don't have to be there till 9:30. So it was kind of nice,
crazy.
Easy. But now the mornings are shot. And then afternoons are always busy, and then before you know it, you're having to prep for dinner, and then you have dinner. So it really is that after dinner, we probably have hour and a half or so, 2 hours after dinner, and we always just putz. We just putz around at this point and just kind of doing our own thing. So
I feel you. I'm struggling with that myself right now. Is my wife's been playing Baldur's Gate 3 and wants to just get to that immediately after dinner, and then my kids.
You're a widower.
My widower, yeah, I'm divorced.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate 3, and then my kid it's soccer season started, so he's got practice and he wants to go out and immediately start practicing it after dinner. He wants to go out and kick the ball around, so it's hard to find that time now to be okay, let's get back to that gaming time. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Is anyone that I'll put this call out to you. I know Carlos and Wayne, so you guys own the game. Rob, you might be buying it for all I know. If anyone's coming to the Wesley Chapel board game, I'll go ahead and plug. There is a Wesley Chapel board game day last Saturday of this month, so we're still a little ways off. Not this Saturday, but the Saturday after that. But that's going to be board game day. If someone comes and brings Footsteps of Darwin, I'd love to get a play in, and then maybe Wayne, if you can make it, I'll borrow your copy. That'd be fun.
So that's September 30th. So that is not only my birthday, but it's also the first game day for my kids' soccer. But I will gladly drop off my copy of Darwin to you beforehand, so you have it on hand to play for the game day.
And if all else fails, Robert can take mine.
Yeah, I think I'm planning to be there, so I'll
Yeah,
find a
I'll-
copy.
yeah, we'll get a copy out there to you. I doubt
I'll
I'll be
drop
able
it
to
off
get
at
that
Rob's doorstep
Yeah,
with no like pre-warning, nothing.
6 a.m. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Like, yeah, no, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll wrap up my call saying, yes, indeed, I actually did play a board game since last talking to you. Me, Joe, and Rob.
Yeah.
Played Frosthaven
Woo!
last night. Great time as always. Tell you what, it was fun. Rob, I don't know how you felt. I mean, spoiler alert for everyone else. We actually lost.
We lost.
We're something like. It's actually not horrible. We're something like probably 60-40, 70-30 on win-loss.
Yeah.
So we're winning more than losing, but losses happen. We lost last night, so the last maybe 15, 20 minutes when you kind of realize, okay, we're just having to take our turns, but we're probably not going to win this one. What was lower energy.
Yep.
But man, last night was
Oh,
fun.
yes.
It's a fun game. It's great. We had jokes going. We had drinks flowing.
We talked even afterwards, even after the loss. We've been on kind of trying to get back on schedule of every other week, every other Wednesday. And then after we lost, we were like, hey, when can everybody get back together? We need to do this again before 2 weeks so we can just blast through this one again and beat it. So even though we lost, we were all energized to do it again.
Yeah. I mean, we traded out things in our deck for folks that have been living under a rock during the whole Gloomhaven, Frosthaven thing. Each character is mostly defined by the deck of cards, the deck that you bring into a scenario. So, like, we're all sitting there changing out cards because we just want to play again, right? You just want to, like, okay, let's do that scenario again. It was great.
Yeah, once you
Yeah,
lose it
yeah.
the first time, you kind of know what to focus on the second time. So, it's like, you know what? I need to drop that card. That did nothing for me. Oh, but this one, that's going to allow me to line those guys up, and boom. Yeah, big attack.
Now, monsters are pre-planned, right? So this isn't like Legends of Andor or the D&D dungeon crawl system where the monsters are random based out of a deck.
No.
So once you've seen the majority of the level, you'll kind of know what type of monsters you're going to be dealing with.
Well, you could even do that before. In the setup, the game allows you to look and see what you're going to face and then build your deck after that. So you can build your deck after seeing what monsters are out there, because certain monsters have shields. You need to bring pierce so that you can pierce the shields. Certain ones are going to poison you, so you might need some healing to get rid of the poison. But you can really do all that ahead of time. So it's really more just kind of seeing how the scenario plays out, seeing whether you need a lot of movement to get around, whether you're in tight corridors, and that's where you kind of get the feel of, okay, I can drop a couple of these that boost my movement, but pick up a few of these that hit a little harder or something like that. So yeah,
very cool.
Well, and Carlos, to your point, I mean, the rule book does do a nice job, and I think they've done a nicer job with Frosthaven even than Gloomhaven. You are not intended to see what's behind a closed door, for instance, until after you open the door.
Right.
So you don't actually know exactly what the types of enemies. You don't know how many. You don't know where they're going to be. You don't know like what special curveball there is. Oh, there's a giant pit of acid right behind the door. Like whatever. You don't know that until you got it once. So now there was a moment in last night's scenario where we knew we were going to get to a second part of the map. We didn't know what the second part of the map really entailed. Now we do. We got to that second part of the map and then lost.
Yep.
So now we know to be over here instead of over there. We know to bring this instead of that. Right.
It's like a video game. Like it's okay. This level is all fireballs. Okay, now I'll practice my fireball tactics.
Yeah.
Yep.
Learn as you go.
Yep. Yeah. So we feel confident that play 2 will cruise. We won't cruise through.
I would
but
say
we
cruise.
should.
Yeah. This is a hard game. This is hard.
There is
for
no
all of you.
cruising through
All of you,
Frosthaven.
see, all of you that are still thinking about it, if you've played Gloomhaven, Frosthaven is clearly more difficult than Gloomhaven, and that was advertised, but it is clearly a harder game. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. So it should be good.
Jaws of the Lion,
Wayne's done.
episode 5. That's it.
Yep.
We're still about halfway through Jaws of the Lion. Yeah,
I just completed episode 5 with my daughter a couple nights ago, so we
Oh,
just
cool.
did
How's
the
that going?
Introductory, so it's
Yeah?
going good. Yeah, it's
She liking it?
slowed down a little bit, but yeah. But she likes it quite a bit. She filled in with us for a few times when we played through the first 5 scenarios with Nick and Dan before, me and Carlos, Nick and Dan, and she subbed in when somebody couldn't make it a couple different times. So she kind of knew what it was all about, but she's liking it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep, very good. All right, well, that's all I got for you guys. I just wanted to call in and have my little therapy session. I actually appreciate the chit chat, and I think I'm going to double down on my what I'm going to get back to, in fact, I did actually take steps. My game table had previously been doubled over the summer here as my work area because my home office is in a detached garage, and over the summer it's got a window AC unit, but even with the window AC unit running as much as we can, I can't really get much cooler than like 84 degrees out there.
Oh,
so like all summer long, it's
It was
good time.
brutal this summer.
All summer long, I've been working in what is basically the game table. I'm going to get back to setting a game up, right? Treating them as a separate activity. Set a game up so that it can be played, and there's no barrier of entry. And it really is like, hey, after dinner, we got 30 minutes. Boom, let's play this game. We don't know how to play. Let's go.
Yep.
So I'll pick a game here, and make that happen. Kind of
Good deal.
This therapy session as a chance to get to it. All right.
I like it.
I will send you the bill.
You guys have. Oh, perfect. That's okay too.
Yeah.
You got to
Have a good one, guys.
show off that new artwork soon. Everybody's got to see it.
Oh yeah. Well, you gotta come watch me do CrossFit or something.
There you go.
Sure.
All right. Good night, Nick. Thanks for calling.
Nah,
See ya.
Nice, Nick.
everyone's like, "What's going on?" Okay,
Yeah.
bye.
So that was Nick Oben out of Wesley Chapel calling in.
He's got a whole thing.
Oh, what?
Smart work.
Oh, he tattooed like the whole side of him?
Yeah.
I know he added more turtles. I remember that.
That was that's nothing.
That was
Yeah,
nothing.
you have to check out the new stuff. It's nice.
You playing
Him
the
and Joe
closing
both.
music here?
Joe had his whole arm.
No, just a buffer.
Yeah,
just a
see, I was
buffer.
wondering when we hit it. I was
Okay.
like, are we done? Hey, good night, everybody.
That's just a buffer.
We're saying goodbye to the first hour. We're
Saying
5
goodbye
minutes
to the
into
last
time
caller.
there. Yeah, there you
5
go.
minutes.
And saying hello to
Yeah.
the next one. 813-618-7099 is the number. Call in and take over the show. We are in the middle of
We try to
scoring.
score this joint. Yeah, middle of start it.
Interrupt us, please.
Yeah.
All right, so the way you score, the first thing we're going to score is points that are visible face up. So the top tile, visible points.
7.
7 to Robert, including any characters that inspired you.
No.
So 3, 6, 7, 10 to Carlos. I'm already in the lead, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, now you're looking for charts
Enjoy it.
times your compasses that you've captured.
3 times 2, 6.
6 to Robert. I have 1, 2, 3 compasses times 1
Ooh.
is 3. Robert's back in the lead. Publications that you've published. I have 5 points in publications.
That's these. These
Yep.
that'll be 10.
10 points in publications to Robert. Then we go to our theories. So I have 2 theories. I got the same one. It's 1 point for every
Oh.
American animal that I have.
That's pretty good.
So it's going to mean 2 points per American animal, covered or not, because it doesn't have the eyeball symbol. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
14.
American animals. That is 14 points
Nice.
for
Oh,
my
so
in-game
some
scoring.
of those, even if you cover them, they count them.
You're
Yeah.
looking for the eyeball symbol. If the eyeball
Okay.
symbol is
That's right. I
attached
missed
to the icon, then
Okay.
only the visible ones will score.
All right. So I got the bird symbols, 1 point each. So I got 2 birds. That's 2 points there. I've got the guides, 2 points each per visible guide. So I have 1, 2, 3 visible guides. So that's 6.
That makes 8.
6 plus the 2 is 8. And then this is 1 for each in this region of my board. So there's 3 more there. It gets me 11.
11 to Robert there. And then who ended up with Darwin?
Me.
All right, 2 points to Rob for Darwin.
This is going to be close.
Let's see here. 11 to Rob, 14 to me there. I think I swapped this there a little bit.
Yeah,
And then 2 points there. All right, 7 and 6 makes 13, and 10 makes 23, and 11 makes 34, and 2 makes 36 to
I
Rob.
think you can get me by a point or 2.
10 to Carlos, 3 makes 13, and 18, and then another 14 makes 20.
Hold on, you lost me there.
Yeah, 20. Okay, so 10 and 3, 18, 28, and 4 makes 32. Rob, you win.
32 to 36.
32
I want to recount.
to 36.
I didn't win that. 13, 18. What's that? 14?
Yep.
28, 32. Yeah. All right. I'll take it.
Rob wins. Rob got his points in publications.
Yeah.
So he was focusing on filling columns and
I was
rows
just trying to fill in my whole board. Yeah.
Yeah.
in order to get those extra points. And then he ended up with Darwin for another 2 points on top of that.
You had Darwin to the very, very end. What would that have been? A 4-point swing that would have given you the win. Right? No, it would have tied us. 34
Yeah, it would have
34.
tied us. It would have 34 34.
What's the tiebreaker?
Tiebreaker is number of theories. I don't have the rule book in front of me. I think it's the number of
I got
theories that
3
you
theories, so I would have had you there just by 3 to 2. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So
It's a
they're-
tight game. It's good.
Yeah, I like it.
Every game has been tight, and I think high score so far that I've seen has been in the low 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is
Yeah,
nice
30s,
because
40s.
it,
Yeah.
There was a podcast I was listening to a couple weeks ago, talking about, and it might have been, I can't remember who it was, talking about point inflation. Broken Meeple. That's who it was. Luke Hector from England with the Broken Meeple.
Yeah.
He talked about point inflation. Played a game where the end game score was something like 400. So it was like everything you did was worth so many points.
Point salad?
Right. It was a point salad that ended up with like 400 points.
Yeah, but you can do the same thing, just have it be normal size points, and you get 30 or 40 instead of 3 or
Cut everything
400.
in half. Yeah. or
Right,
by-
like-
by 90%.
That is a lot of work and math to score out that kind of level of point. I like this game because so far the highest score has been in the low 40s, which to me means every single point really matters. Like getting Darwin, I thought, 2 points for getting Darwin, but look at that. That would have been a swing.
Yeah, it would have been time. Yeah. Some people like their points. Some people like those high scores.
I think I had
Just,
one game end in a tiebreaker. I took the tiebreaker, so I there was already a tie. The last game, I think Melissa and I were 1 point away. Mikey won by I think it was 40. Melissa and I were in the 30s, but 1 point apart from each other. And then Gabe was in the teens. He struggled.
Mhm.
So it's like it seems like there could be someone that falls back, the younger kids.
Yeah.
But if you're playing well, you're going to be in that 40s and up and be competitive.
Okay.
Cool.
Like it.
Change your feeling on the game.
That I won? Oh, yeah. It makes me feel better.
Was that the
Hey,
recent
back
podcast?
to the podcast,
The recent
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
You like that? You
It's a
like
nice
that?
podcast.
You
We're
see what
gonna
I did
get-
there?
pumping that thing
Little
up. You see what I did
callback,
there?
yeah.
I listened to the most recent one. I listened to the end of it. I listened to the beginning of it yesterday, but I caught the end of it on my drive over tonight. And so I came up with an idea for. I know Mitchell keeps giving you a hard time about your rants. Your
See, that's the thing. It was
grievances.
already a
That-
trademark segment of the show. It's already
It's
been
not.
Wayne's rant. Like,
No.
we've already had a Wayne's
Well,
rant.
I got a better title. I'm going to call it Wayne's Pains. So it's not saying Wayne is a pain,
Oh,
but it's the
yeah.
things that
Yeah,
pain
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Because no, it's the things that pain you. Again, I
Yeah.
just say I know this is going to sound derogatory, but it's really not at all because it really takes a lot of that off because Mitchell gives you a hard time for ranting and getting all that stuff off your chest. But this really is your pains. I mean, the rapping
is-
of the tiny epic. I mean, that was a pain point for you.
Yeah,
so
I guess it was.
it's
It was
it's
just
not
the
a
box
negative.
lift was pissing me off, actually.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah,
How
exactly.
do
The
you-
box lift, and so
do you
these
like
are
to-
Wayne's
to-
pains, just your
Yeah.
little pains, the little things that
which is
some of these games do. The
I
jab
point
at
out
you.
I'm generally a pretty positive person.
Yeah.
But that's
do
see,
have
that's
some
the
negative-
moment you know he's going into a Wayne rant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's going into a Wayne rant when
I'm
he
like, look,
starts
I'm not-
with, it really doesn't bother me, but
Yeah.
But
Here it comes.
I'm trying
Put
not
on your
to,
seatbelts.
I'm trying to be, you gotta like if you're doing a podcast or a show, you have to say some things that are like, not controversial, but you have to like stir the pot. If you just everything is like, oh, it's good, it's great, lovely.
Yeah.
You have to clicks based on negativity matter. Right? Is
Yeah,
that what,
for sure. Yeah, we've
Sometimes
done a
I
little
try
bit of
not
that
to,
here.
but yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
Nick
I-
Oben was
yeah.
asking how to find the podcast. Apparently, our buddy, last caller, Nick Oben, struggled with the technologies
Oh,
with regard
Problem
to
in
find
chair, not in
podcasts.
computer, yeah.
he's a tech guy. Yeah.
So we had that. That was fun. Like every tech guy in the Discord chimed in with a different acronym on why it's a user error.
Mhm.
Yeah.
On Nick's part.
That was fantastic. I've used a couple of those already. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how can folks find the podcast for them?
So it-
Like
So it's Beans and Dice podcast, and it's Spreaker on you, and basically any of your normal podcast stuff. You can find it, and it's.
and I know Robert is not a podcaster. Like I
Oh.
had to walk him
You
step
actually
by
put it
step.
on my phone. You actually physically put the app on my
Robert,
phone.
I'm making you a subscriber.
Yes.
Let me show
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
Yep, he downloaded the
I
app, put it on there. and
Rob's
he's like,
commenting on the 2 weeks ago podcast. I'm like, oh, Rob's catching up on the podcast.
I am. At least I'm listening. Yeah.
I know. I appreciate it. No, it's all good.
So
It's
if you
not
have
big-
an iPhone, the easiest way is going to tend to be your Apple iTunes.
Yeah.
Right. So if you pull up the iTunes app and then search Beans and Dice Podcast, you'll find us there. If you're an Android user, you have some options. I know as an Android user, you can use like Spotify. So you can
Yep.
find us on Spotify.
Yep.
I know some folks have the iHeartRadio app. You can find us on iHeartRadio. You can search for the podcast there. Google used to have a Google Podcast service, I think. I think it's gone though. That was one way to do it. And if all else fails, you can go to the Spreaker. Spreaker is the site that I pay monthly to host our podcast show. So I pay them monthly fees to be able to be on the Spreaker. You can listen there. And then finally, I think the last way is I always publish the podcast on YouTube. Did I forget to do it this time? I'll have to go double check. But I tend to publish the podcast.
Always.
So I said
Tend to always,
now.
except for this 1 week.
Tend to always. Like
Tend
an
to always,
oxymoron?
except for this
Yeah.
weekend. And then we
I
also,
tend
you
to also
posted
post it
in-
on YouTube.
and then you post it in our Discord server, so that's what we can place.
I'm pulling up Spreaker now to see
And
if
to
I
check while
messed
we're,
it up.
while we're on the air here. Yeah.
It's fun. You know, what's cool is, you know, we just sort of like we Facebook message or text, be like, hey, when are we recording? Or okay, we're record here. What's the topic this week? And we'll figure that out, I think. So we have a couple lined up. I think in the next week we might talk about best ways to choose starting player, and then how do you like games to end. So this, next week's podcast may be like start to end type thing. So we'll see.
Alpha and Omega.
Yeah, you know, we'll see. But it's interesting because it makes you think about things. Like I really, I think, you know, Mitchell and I talking about things like that, just like conversational, you kind of, and even in like tonight's show and things like that, you really start thinking about how you are as a gamer and how your game style and your game tendencies interact with others. And so you kind of, I don't know, I think it's making me a better, not a better gamer as far as someone who wins all the time, but a better gamer as far as a better, as part of that magic circle, right? A better participant in the games as you talk about how things go. So anyway.
And I want to get into, you know, we don't just game. Our lives aren't just gaming.
No.
Yeah.
We started to have some really good conversation after last week's show about some of the other geeky goodness
yeah.
that we've been getting into.
Since we got off the air, yeah.
So, you know, I wanted to talk about some of those other
We hit on that
geeky
the
hobbies
podcast this week
and,
too, yeah.
and enjoyments that we have. And I'll start off, you know, I've been watching a lot of shows with wifey in the evening, kind of burning through some series. One of those series that I really enjoyed that I wanted to share about is a series on Netflix called Beef. Beef is I think it was like not 8 episodes or 9 episodes.
That's it.
Yeah, it wasn't very long, but it was set in California, and it's an Asian. All the actors are Asian, and it revolves around one of the actors, which is, I believe it was The Walking Dead. What's his name?
Yeah.
He got destroyed with
by Negan.
Ma.
Yeah. No, that was what's the bat's name?
Yeah. Negan. Negan destroyed the guy.
Negan. Yeah.
But he's one of the lead actors in it, and it was a series that starts off with a guy coming out of Home Depot or something, and he gets almost into a fender bender with someone, and they start like chasing each other in this horrible like road rage incident, which then somehow gets their lives entangled in ways that you wouldn't imagine. And it just it went from episode to episode. Wifey and I originally were like, we weren't sure, you know, Mrs. C and I weren't sure if we're gonna watch this. I said, let's just watch the first episode, see how it goes, and we were hooked. Like, you know, California is not my thing. I'm not around that culture. I didn't grow up there. That whole idea of that West Coast life, it just doesn't connect with me. But the characters, the way they were, the family aspect, the immigrant aspect, I was actually able to really relate to a lot of that. Although it's Asian culture, it's Korean and Japanese culture that they talked about, and Chinese as well. I can relate to the idea of being the son of a immigrant, like a true I don't speak English parent, right? And that's what they dealt with. So there were some things that I could relate to. But I'm going to recommend Beef as a fun action series to watch.
Stephen Yeun was the actor.
Yeah,
He played
Stephen
Glenn on
Glenn, that was his name.
Yeah, Glenn.
I cried when that happened.
Oh, that was rough.
Eyeball and everything.
That was rough. Yeah.
I had already read the graphic novels by that point, so it wasn't.
So you knew that was coming.
Yeah.
It is. I never did the graphic novel thing, but I heard there was, you know, obviously, a lot's come out about that. There were a lot of divergences.
Yeah,
So that
there
part
were.
was close to the.
That part was pretty
novel,
close.
so-
Yeah, some of that.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of that was
Gotcha.
there. A lot of the
Go
key
for it.
moments, the first 5 or 6 seasons were very similar, and then
Okay.
after it got past that, it went a little crazy. And now, like, they've got like 5 different spin-off shows.
Oh yeah,
and
that's all over the place now. Yeah.
Norman Reedus is in France now. How did that happen? Whatever.
Oh really?
You know, yeah.
Nice.
There's a whole
Okay.
new series with what's his I forget his
Daryl
character's
and
name.
what's her
Daryl.
name? Yeah.
Yeah, but no, Daryl, and his new season, he's in France, and it's like he's in like the south of France. The first episode, he comes off the boat, and it's like
Mm.
there's all kinds of different walkers now. There's like acid ones and this, that, and other things, and so
They jumped a shark.
yeah. Well, they jumped a shot a long time ago.
I
but-
stopped when Carl died. Like Carl died. I was
That's
done.
exactly when I stopped too. Right, or
Really?
yeah, right around there. Yeah,
I
probably
couldn't
around
do it anymore.
I watched all the original, but I'm not doing any of the spinoffs. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's too
What
much.
else are you guys up to geek wise? I got more stuff, but we'll go
Man,
round robin.
I know you're gonna disagree, but Ahsoka is so good.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. Yep.
I haven't even watched this week's episode.
I haven't
Oh
watched
my
it.
god, it's so good.
I watched the first one. That's all I've watched so far.
I saw a picture of. Oh, we can't spoil, can we?
Right,
It's
yeah.
still-
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Thrawn.
Right.
Oh, I think everybody knows
Yeah.
Thrawn.
Thrawn was
Everyone knows
coming.
Thrawn's
Yeah.
I saw a
yeah,
picture
yeah.
of the actor dressed up as Thrawn, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know
that's
how
so
I
good.
feel about this."
They started
No,
releasing
it's so
pictures
good.
of him like a year ago, but yeah.
It's good, man. It's
Yeah.
it's really good. I talked about it on the podcast. I'm loving Thrawn, but my wife and I are not loving the Wheel of Time series. It's just
Yeah. We
I mean, how do
enjoyed
you-
the first one. We didn't ever do the books. My whole family
Yeah.
watched as a family thing. We watched the whole first series or season. We haven't started the second season yet. But did you
Yeah.
you just don't like it in general, or do you think the second
it's
season's
just
bad?
it's really slow. Like the whole first season, like like nothing happened forever, and then all of a sudden, like in the last episode or two, or last part of every episode, just a million things happened. And then say they're doing the same thing now, and they're changing. What's crazy is the Wheel of Time series is like, I don't know, 15 or 16 books, and they're not thick, thin books. They're all like
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, like, so it's like, tens of thousands of pages of material to pull from. You don't need to change things from these books very much, and they're changing things. So it's just so slow. And like each episode, like is 70 minutes, 80 minutes. So it's like a little long, and yeah. So same reason why a lot of us put down the books is like, Robert Jordan would write like a entire 30-page chapter on a woman's dress, and you're like, okay,
I have
dude,
an
we get the
employee of
point.
mine who is rereading the whole Wheel of
Yeah.
Time series. We were
Oh,
talking
God,
about it
it's
this
painful.
week at work, and he was telling me about how like he'll spend so much time just talking about the stitching on the
Oh, it's like, dude,
dresses.
I don't need to read 10 pages on the stitchings on this dress. I get
Wow,
it. It's a nice
yeah.
dress. Like, let's move on, yeah. And they're doing the same thing in the show.
Hmm.
Is that someone calling in?
They started to, and then they're back.
Beans and Nice
Thank you for the
podcast.
fast pickup. We ask you to let us know that you're not a voicemail system.
That was weird.
Oh,
That
yep,
was
some
weird.
kind of automated message. Oh well.
Yeah.
Never happened before. I'll screen the next one.
So-
Long.
Yeah. And then, I love Star Trek. Anything, the Star Trek Strange New Worlds is just the best Star Trek that's been out since probably Next Generation.
I'm trying to
And
get there.
the-
We've been watching. Me and my wife have been watching them because we did was
So
this
good.
Discoveries, and then
Okay.
we
Discovery's
now we're-
good.
now
Discovery's
we're on-
really good.
Yeah, we like
Picard's
that.
really good.
Picard. We watched the whole first season of Picard. We're halfway through the second season, so we're trying to finish the
Nice.
second season of Picard so we can jump over and start watching Strange New
Yeah,
Worlds.
Strange
so-
New Worlds is fantastic, and then Lower Decks is hilariously funny.
The kids show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know if it's a
no,
kid show.
no,
Yeah,
no,
it's
no, no.
animated. Is that? if
It's
that's what you mean,
animated.
It's
It is
animated.
not for
It's not a
kids.
kid show.
No, it's not.
No, there's
Oh,
a
no, no,
kids there is a kids one, but yeah, Lower Decks
Yeah,
is not the
Star
kids one.
Trek Odyssey.
what's that one?
Maybe Odyssey. I think it's Star
does
Trek.
it
My kid watches it. That was really. They canceled that unfortunately because it was really.
Oh,
good.
did they? Oh, I didn't hear it was canceled,
Yeah.
but I haven't started watching either one of those animated ones yet. But we'll definitely get to them. Yep.
We got Ron Frazier on the line. Say hello.
Hey, Ron.
Hey guys,
We're talking other geeky goodness, not just gaming. So thanks for popping in and interrupting us and getting us back on track. What do you got going on gaming wise?
well, I have to comment about the other geeky game goodness before I do my thing. So, Wheel of Time, I think second season is much better than the first season.
Oh,
Yeah, it's slow, but Wheel of Time is slow. And I think the plan is doing 7 seasons. So I don't know how they're going to condense 7 seasons out of 15,000 pages of novels. But this show is definitely geared towards casual fans or people who haven't read Wheel of Time at all. So the more I feel like the more knowledge you have of Wheel of Time, the more disappointed you're going to be.
probably.
Because Amazon doesn't care.
Yeah, I agree.
Amazon doesn't care about
Yeah.
the defense. So it's been I would say it's been like 15 or 20 years since I read the last Wheel of Time book that I read. So I have enough knowledge to have warm and fuzzy saying, oh, yeah, I know that person. But, like, I'm ignorant enough not to know when they're butchering plot points. So I feel like my level of knowledge.
Yeah,
is like
I think I would agree
a
with you there,
perfect
Ron.
level.
Is if you don't know anything about Wheel of Time, it's more enjoyable.
Yeah. So, but I hear you. You know, I hear you on the complaint. Ahsoka, I'm loving that show. It's great. I'm annoyed with Sabine. I feel like that character is making idiotic decisions.
Oh my God! I'm gonna go at you with this lightsaber, but although let me stop. Spoilers.
You're
Spoilers.
spoiling. Don't mess it up for me.
So I think I understand what Filoni's trying to do with the character, but I'm like, you need him to get on with it already.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 cents on those things. But tonight I am calling, and I'm glad that you guys are still online right now. Is I want to give it the beans on Disney Lorcana.
Nice.
Oh,
okay,
we're
let's
getting
do
to
it.
Yeah.
give it the beans.
I've been waiting on this.
So you got enough
Okay,
plays in that you
so-
feel comfortable with this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to caveat this. I am not a seasoned CCG player. I'm not into competitive card games, with maybe one exception, but I'm not going to talk about that. So it just isn't my thing. I picked up Lorcana as a casual pick up and play game. That's maybe like a filler game, something I could play with, my wife or maybe my 6-year-old because he's pretty sharp, or just with my gaming buddies as something to kind of kill some time. A nice little lightly strategic card game. That's where I'm coming from. With that being said, the basics. You are Disney Illuminators with magical ink that you use to draw and summon Disney creatures to go on quests. But really, what all you're doing is, from what I understand about magic, is you're trying to reduce someone's HP down to 0 from 20.
Sure.
But seriously, after the game, it says you get 20 lore. First person gets 20 lore wins. You play characters to earn that lore, or characters can also stop other characters from earning that lore by challenging them, quote unquote, which basically means they fight and do damage to each other. So it's a trading card. You got a deck of 60 cards of different characters, items, and actions. You can get them out and play. You exhaust them to do effects, all that kind of stuff. Not really want to. If you've played like trading card games, understand if you play Magic or Pokemon or anything like that, I understand a lot of the mechanics, the mechanisms are familiar. That's the basics. Enjoyment. There are aspects of the theme that I enjoy, and it kind of crosses over into my A. But I enjoy a lot of the Disney properties, so I enjoy a lot of the characters, kind of the theme of summoning the different Disney creatures to go out and everything like that. I think it's kind of cool. I think some of the mechanisms work for the for the Disney characters and everything like that. I feel like the game moves at a quick pace, so that's great. None of my games, from what I recall, took over 30 minutes, maybe 25, 30 minutes, which is great. And I didn't feel like anything was dragging. Aesthetics, art's great. Is Disney stuff. What's really neat is that not only do you have, like maybe you have a card that has Mickey Mouse as the wizard, but you might have, they call these like Dreamborn or something like that, where there's you have the Disney characters in a wildly different scenario. So you got you might have like a fire elemental Mickey Mouse, or something like that. But all the art is beautifully done. Of course, I don't think there's going to be a Disney IP game out there where the art isn't going to be at least decent. Because otherwise, like, why are they putting the game out? So I think it's beautiful. You look at it on the table. I feel like the card quality is okay. It's fine. I've played card games where the card quality has been better, and I was kind of surprised by that. I was expecting a little bit more, but it's not like a negative or anything. The colors really pop and everything like that. Something else I didn't mention about the basics is that there's 6 different colors. You match together decks that consist of 2 different colors, and the colors do different things. And I didn't really want to get into it, but you can I think you can figure a lot of it out. Like gold cards do card draw and all this kind of stuff. Red really focused on attacking and all this kind of stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, challenging. Or
Disney
whatever
here,
they
no
want to call
attacking.
it.
Yeah.
Disney here, no attacking. Yeah.
Which leads me into my negatives. There are aspects of the theme that I enjoy and I like, and there are aspects of the theme that just don't work. And ultimately, I feel like the theme is it almost doesn't matter. Like this could be, I don't know, this could be like any other theme, and still, the mechanisms will work the same, and it doesn't really matter. The other thing is, I'm not sure what this game is really trying to shoot for, because it's supposed to be for players 8 and up, right? I feel like there are keywords and concepts that are a little bit too noodly for younger players, but at the same time, if you're looking to dig your fingers into a meaty strategic game, this ain't it either. I'm not quite sure where it's trying to land, because I feel like it's just a level of complexity beyond like simple, but it's not complex enough that I think it would satisfy someone that like plays Magic every Friday night or something like that. So who are they trying to target with this? I don't know, but that's not much of a negative for me, because for me and my game group, it'll work fine. For my 6-year-old, I'd have to simplify some things anyway. So I'm going to get into the summary. So I really enjoyed the game. On the buy, try, or deny scale, obviously I bought this game. But if I were coming at this from a neutral position, looking for a game that could be, has some level of strategy, but still is going to play quick, has a good rhythm, that I can play with most anybody, so long as they're not brand new to gaming. 2 starter packs, which is what you need to play a game, is MSRP $35, and that's all you need to play the game.
2?
Yes, the MSRP is $17. Okay, I got 2 starter packs for $35. Now I actually bought all 3 starter packs. The 3rd starter pack I paid way too much money for. If people are price gouging.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you still get it for that amount? Is the question.
Yeah. So the first starter pack I got, I paid a whole bunch of money. I don't want to talk about that. But one of my FLGSs got a little bit of stock here, and I rushed up to the store and bought the other 2 starter packs I didn't have. And they sold at MSRP because they're awesome. Meeple Madness in Flowery Branch, Georgia. If you're ever here in the Metro Atlanta area, go check them out. They're awesome. But to get into the game for $35, if you're for a casual 2-player game with some level of strategy and whatever, I would buy this.
Cool.
Ringing endorsement.
Ringing endorsement.
Yeah, I've heard just to touch on the complexity. I'm not sure where I heard this or whatever, but I've heard that they have announced that this is kind of the starting point, and some of the things that they're going to be introducing in the future, their plans, assuming the game continues to do well and has an audience, is that they do plan to introduce new concepts, as you could expect, and some more complication to the game, some more gameriness, goodness, however you want to get into that. They do plan to make it step up as it goes along. And from what I understand, Magic was way before me. I have actually never, ever played Magic for whatever reason. But,
Really?
yeah, I've never even tried it. So I probably need to rectify that sometime. But from what I understand, Magic was on a similar footing when it first came out. People were like, oh, well, this is good. But then over the years and years of Magic, all the stuff that's come out has made it more complicated, has made it more, obviously there's all different kinds of ways you can play Magic now, Commander and all those different things. But yeah, some of that's supposed to be on tap here for this as it goes along.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that. But as a casual game, I mean, after you're just getting the starter decks, I'm sure that could have remained simple. So, but for those folks that are really into TCG, that's promising then.
Well, thank you, sir. I know we're getting some feedback with the phone call. It seems like we're
hearing
getting
it here in
echoing.
the headphones. I don't know if y'all are hearing it out there, but we're getting an echo all of
We
a sudden.
do definitely appreciate you taking the time to call in and give us the beans on Lorcana. I know the gamers here in Beans and Dice are going to appreciate that.
No problem. I'll hang up and listen to the rest of the show. Take care, guys.
Thanks,
for
Ron.
calling, as always. That's
Yeah,
weird.
they-
See if that's feedback keeps up on our end. Are you hearing any of that, Wayne, on your end?
I was hearing it. Yeah, I was.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so there's something
I think
going
it was.
on
I
there.
think it was
Okay.
maybe his phone, but the
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I mean, Lorcana. The problem in it right now is they woefully underestimated how much they needed.
Yeah.
Like just between the FLGSs and the mass market, and then you have the gamers going gaga for it, and Disney collectors going gaga for it.
Yep.
Like I'm kind of. I don't necessarily. I don't blame any FLGS for charging more than MSRP. But it does. It got nasty. Like some of these FLGSs and people charging 3 and 4 and 5 times MSRP. Like I get charging a little bit more than MSRP for something that's hot that you have some stock that other people don't. But like if it started at 17 and you're charging over 100 for it, like I'm not shopping at your store ever again type thing. Like I'm just not going to do that. I get charging more than 17, maybe 20, $30 because it's limited. But like when you're price gouging like that, that's just like crazy because they're going to reprint it. Like they've already announced several reprintings of the initial set and they have another set. They have set 2 coming out, which is like the water based or flood based or something like that. And they've already said we're going to print the second set, but we're going to do a complete new print run of the first set. So, and then people are complaining, oh, that's just going to devalue the cards. Well, then you should have speculated on the price of the cards and tried, immediately, whatever. But I definitely want to try this because I think it'd be a game that my kid and wife would like playing. I mean, I play Pokemon with him every now and then now. And he's getting back into that again. So I think Lorcana would be up in that range. The cards look amazing. I mean, you're going to sleeve them anyway. So if the card stock's not the best, but I don't know if you guys have seen some of the artwork on the cards. It's gorgeous.
No, the alternate art that Ron was talking about, the idea that they're going to use the same characters over and over again, but they're going to do kind of like an alternate, like a flame Mickey.
Right.
It's all the
that art has been cool.
Yeah. They're going to do foil versions and all that kind of stuff for the collectors out there who are looking for the rare stuff. But if you're just a gamer and you don't care, they're all going to do the same thing effectively. They'll have little variations, but there'll be collectible aspects of it.
No theme.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't even. Ron was right though. The idea behind it is they're going to get all the characters in. They're going to do alternates to them.
Well,
but there's no real theme to this.
Well, there was the whole story before about we kind of got away from it. I don't remember the guy who designed this was being sued because he took from what was the other company? He was designing a game for another company.
Upper Deck, I think it was.
Upper Deck. That's right. And then he brought it over here, and so now I believe that suit's still going on. We probably won't hear much because the way the legal system works, it'll be years if that ever comes to light and comes to a courtroom.
Sure.
But
I think they ended up settling, right?
did they? I didn't hear about a settlement. I don't know. Maybe
I
they
didn't hear
did.
about a settlement. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about a settlement on that one. But so, I mean, again, that just tells you no theme because I'm sure it had a
because the
different theme
injunction didn't
there.
work. They
Yeah.
asked for an injunction to
Right.
stop the release, and they're like, "Gen Con, get in line."
Yeah, exactly. So they're moving ahead.
In
so-
Get in line a
Justice.
day ahead of time. Stand in line
Yeah.
for 20 hours. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
So-
it's Disney. It's Disney characters. People are going to be loving it. I think it'll be around for a while. Just even if it's just the collectors, it's going to sell because it's Disney. It has a fanatic fan base that's going to draw. So it's kind of we'll see.
Anyway, we want to get back to we're talking about shows.
Yeah, but you
Geeky
know,
goodness?
Shows.
the next show that I want to bring up was one that it was not on my radar. My wife brought this one up. It was one that she's been desiring to watch. Only Murders in the Building.
Yep.
This one's
It's a
pretty
good one.
cool.
I
This
like
is
it a
pretty
lot.
cool, and I find it to be pretty cool because it's Steve Martin,
Yeah.
Martin Short,
Martin Short.
like the duo together.
And then what's her name? I mean, like out of left field.
Selena Gomez.
Yeah, then she got two old guys, and then you got this really young girl
who has an old soul.
exactly. Well, at least on the show. Yeah.
She's like the mature one
Yeah.
compared to these two schmucks.
Oh yeah, and we know those two schmucks. I mean, we know how they are.
Ah,
so-
yeah, hilarious.
I'm loving like
That's great.
before we even started watching this or I had any idea about this show, I had introduced my wife to The Jerk.
Mm.
So like she watched,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
we watched The Jerk
One
with
of my
Steve
all-time
Martin.
favorites. Yeah.
Right, like
Why are they shooting the cans?
Oh, it's a profit thing.
it's like just growing up with Steve Martin as an actor has been so fun. My boy watched it with me. So like watching him now in his late age,
Golden years.
he's
yeah.
still good.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
still like
Still sharp.
The physical comedy that he does, the faces and the movement.
Well, the funny thing here is because in this show he plays a kind of a retired actor, and so it's kind of like they're making fun of everywhere he goes because he played this was detective or whatever in Brazos in this big TV show that everybody knew was kind of like I don't know
Your
what
dad knew, not us.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like our parents
Yeah.
used to watch that old
Exactly.
show.
Oh, no, none of the kids in the show know what it's about, but he kind of struts around and then he gets kind of knocked off his perch all the time because they're like, "What are you talking about? Who are you?" And so it's funny just because that's
Like my dad used to
yeah.
watch that show. Yeah, he loved
yeah,
it.
that was So it's funny.
It's on my
It's a great
list to
show.
watch. It's on my list.
It's good. It's a kind of a murder mystery thing, but it's high comedy. I mean, it's a lot of stuff thrown in there. They do a podcast in there, so the whole thing is it's a murder.
That's the
podcast
fun part.
that
It
they're-
is a
that
murder
they're doing.
podcast.
So, yeah,
All right.
so it's funny.
So it's kind of like connecting with me a little bit with the podcast piece, and
Yeah.
then it's also the game piece.
yeah.
Like the idea, like I'm trying to solve the murder before the season ends.
Yeah, and they got so many twists as you can imagine. So you think you got it figured out, and then they're going to throw something in there that.
But not
Is
too
this-
far.
Is this a line from the show? I found my special purpose.
My special purpose.
Maybe
That seems to ring a bell,
trying
but I
to
don't
remember.
Yeah.
I think so. Chester just posted that, so I thought maybe that was.
It may
show
be,
related.
but
I
it's
can't
been fun.
remember,
I think in the second season, we've got Ant-Man. What's his name? Actor
Paul
of
Rudd?
Ant-Man. Paul
Is it
Rudd.
Paul Rudd?
Was he in there? I'm on season 3. I can't remember. if
Season
it's
2. He's season 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Yes. He's
uh,
actually the start of season 3 too. Not to ruin anything for you, but yeah.
What?
Anyway,
Spoiler.
Spoilers.
moving right along.
And then the female lead in the second season, not Susan Sarandon. We got some star power, bro.
okay,
Yeah.
Some
Oh,
true
yeah.
star
There's
power.
lots of people. Well, you can imagine with Steve Martin and Martin Short, there's a lot
Yeah.
of people I'm sure clamoring, lining up to be on.
And
the
I'm
show,
loving
so-
Martin Short.
Yeah.
He's
Mhm.
so crazy.
Have you shown your boy the Three Amigos yet, man?
Oh, that's
I
great.
have not.
Yeah, that's a great one.
It's such a good one.
We're old.
Shooting
Yeah.
the invisible swordsman, was it? Yeah, invisible swordsman he actually shoots him. Yeah, good stuff. Anyway,
I don't. Unfortunately, I've been watching Apple TV a lot, so I don't know if a lot of people have Apple TV subscriptions. But there's a show
I
on
don't.
Apple TV called Silo, which is just awesome. Really,
Oh,
it's
yeah?
based on some books. Also, it's like sometime in the future, and like all of humanity's living in this underground silo, and it's like there's like the top floor, and it goes hundreds of floors down, and so it's like. It's kind of a caste system type thing where you have workers at the bottom that are working the machinery that funds everything, and you have farmers in the mid levels, and there's it's kind of like murder mystery, and then also figuring out like any technology from Earth of like today is like banned. It's like you immediately get like thrown in jail type thing, and you can and you can not allowed to have any kind of hard drives or computers, so you're not allowed to learn sort of maybe what happened to the world.
Well, because it
and then-
ruined the world to begin with, right? Why let
Yeah,
you
exactly,
learn about
that
it
thing.
if
Yeah,
it
exactly,
blew
yep.
us up to begin with?
And then there's a thing where like you can say, I'd like to go outside now, which is like, I'm done with the silo. I want to go outside. And it's always like, there's like a camera that's looking outside, but over time it's looking outside and basically it's just, barren world. Everything's destroyed. There's nothing living. It's toxic out there. But the camera lens gets dirty, and every so often someone just goes, "Hey, I'm done with life. I want to go outside now." And they'll put them in like kind of like a quasi spacesuit to try to go outside. And everyone always wants to go and see what's over the hill, like what's over the hill. And they'll come outside and they decide not to go over the hill, and they give them a cloth and they say, if you decide not to go over the hill, please, before you die a painful, excruciating death, turn around and clean off the camera lens so we get a good vision of the outside. And like at forever, like people will walk out and there's like all these bodies, and then they'll turn around. Instead of walking over the hill, they'll turn around and they'll clean off the thing, and then they'll turn around to try to walk back over the hill and die. And so, like, why is that? Like, what's going on? And the whole thing is trying to figure out what's going on there. Why do people do that? Why do people who go out there decide to turn around and clean off it? So it's a really cool sci-fi-ish type show with great cast, fantastic cast. So it's a good one. If you have Apple TV,
Apple TV,
Silo, yeah, Apple TV Silo, really good, yeah.
Speaking of sci-fi, I mentioned to you guys last week that me and my daughter started watching The Expanse. So 6 seasons of The Expanse. We're like 6 or 7 episodes in. We're struggling a little
season
bit.
one?
Of
Season one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We're struggling a little bit. The
Really?
accents in that show, there are...
Oh, the belter?
South African kind of an accent?
No.
There's several. I mean, there's some with a
there's-
French accent. There's some with, that whatever that...
that belter kind of Cockney-ish.
Yeah, I was just saying, like a Cockney, like almost Scottish or...
Yeah, just
or,
throw subtitles on.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what my son said. He's like, just turn the subtitles on. Just watch it that way.
I do.
Oh, you
I
have
watch
to
everything
read
with subtitles.
Really? Yeah, that's what my son keeps telling me because he watches all these Korean drama shows and
I'm sorry.
I watch-
So,
I watch every show with subtitles because it just
Really?
Like every
Maybe I
time
need
I'm
to try
like,
that.
I've
It
gotten
allows
used
me to
it.
lower the volume. Like I find today's volume mix is so hard to watch.
Yeah.
Because you get the dramatic music and it's going to be so loud compared to the whispers when they're talking.
Yeah.
But,
I'm constantly on the remote turning it up and down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Expanse is so good though. The space battles in
Yeah.
that are just fantastic. And
It is
the
good.
way
It
they
jumps
handle
around a lot. Though that's the other thing we're struggling with a little bit is that it'll show you. I mean, it's kind of nice for short attention spans because they don't seem to stick with one character in one scenario for more than 2 or 3 minutes, and then they jump to something else, then they jump back over to there.
That starts to fix itself as the series goes on. You get a
Okay.
little bit more
Once the characters are established.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
So it's jumping around a lot, so we're having a little bit of difficulty focusing on it. So
Well,
but,
I would imagine if you're not doing it with subtitles, I don't know how you're understanding the word
yeah, we pause.
that's coming out
we
of
pause constantly, like, hold on,
a
what did he
belter's
say?
mouth.
Yeah, we're asking each other. What
belter
did he say?
stuff is tough. It's kind of like
Yeah.
the movie Snatch with Brad Pitt. He can't understand
Yeah.
a word he says.
Yep,
It's almost like pig Latin. Like I cannot understand it.
That kind
Belter
of
low da now. Yeah, it's
Yep.
it's good. It's such a good show. I'm really
I can't-
glad that Amazon continued it. When Sci-Fi decided to cancel it, like Jeff Bezos was like, "No, I love these books. We're gonna finish the series. Move it to Amazon,
Yeah.
and we'll finish it there." So
Yeah, we're really liking the physics and the whole space thing and how it seems pretty accurate to how things would actually work out in space. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah, my buddy who's a like engineer and does stuff with he has worked with NASA. Now he works with SpaceX. He's talked about how like a lot of his buddies that are all work in the space industry, they all go, "Yeah, that's really pretty accurate." Like if you fire projectile weapons in space, it's going to punch through a ship, and so you better be in your own suit because your ship is going to lose atmosphere.
Depressurize and
like it's such a good show. Yeah, I enjoy that one.
What else? What have you been watching?
Go
ahead, Wayne.
No, I was gonna say the other one. The new season of Welcome to Wrexham started, which is the soccer thing.
I watched the first
So-
season. I got to catch up because there's like 3 or 4 seasons out
Three-
now, so I
there's
gotta
like-
catch up.
Well, no, there's only the second season, but there's like 3 episodes of the second season are
Oh,
out.
is it really?
So it's-
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I thought it was
so-
a season behind, but no, maybe
No,
not.
you're up. Yeah, if you watch the whole first season, you're good. So, Carlos, if you don't know, Wrexham is this tiny little town in Wales.
Yep.
And they used to have a really good soccer team, like 20, 30 years ago, and they've been just crap forever. And so during the pandemic, Rob McElhenney, who was the guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he was one of the 2 brothers, and then Ryan Reynolds. They decided to buy the team. Like they bought the team, and they're going to like, okay, we want to bring them there. In
Now,
World
are
Soccer.
these characters played by?
No, this is the
or
real-
No.
This
This
is
is
a
like
documentary.
live action. Like they
It's a
invested.
documentary.
I'm sorry, what? It's a documentary?
Yes.
It's a documentary. Yeah. And so, this is legitimate. And so,
Yeah.
So
unlike
Deadpool
American
buys a
sport-
soccer team.
yeah, he buys a soccer team. So, like, unlike America, like in the NFL, the crappiest team in the NFL is still in the NFL. But in world soccer, if you're the worst team in your league, you get kicked out. They relegate you. They move you down to the next lower levels. So, like junior football or like college
to
level
minor
or
leagues.
high school.
Yep.
Minor
Like the
leagues, right,
Rays
yeah.
would be in the minor
There's-
leagues thanks
right.
to the Orioles taking the number
Right.
one spot in the
Correct.
AL East.
Something like that. Yeah.
Congratulations,
So if you're
Robert.
if you're the best team in the lower league, you move up. If you're the worst team in the upper team, you lower down. So this Wrexham team is in like the lowest league possible,
The
like
fifth
right
tier
below
or something.
fifth tier, and they've been horrible. So these two American stars just buy them and start funneling money in. It's trying to rebuild it, and the whole thing is about this town that was a mining and manufacturing
collar.
town, real blue collar that lost all the manufacturing jobs and went to crap. And how these two guys buying the team just has changed the entire city.
I think
and
I've seen
the team
this.
starts
This is
winning and stuff.
Mighty
It's on
Ducks.
FX.
It was Mighty Ducks. That's what it
Mighty
was.
Ducks, yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that. But it's fun. It's really fun, and you really see just like the business acumen of Ryan Reynolds and just how he turns everything he buys. He bought Aviation Gym for like $10 million and turned it into
Did he buy a
500
cell phone company?
Yeah,
those
Mint
commercials.
Mobile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he bought into Aviation American Gin for like $10 million, and then he sold it for $500 million or some shit like that. It's just like
Yeah.
that
Just
dude
putting
makes
his name
money.
on it's got a lot of power.
What
but,
what provider is showing this documentary?
FX. It's on FX. It's on Hulu.
It's Hulu's where I watch
Hulu.
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I have Hulu.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny watching them interview because they interview the locals and stuff, and some of the locals are like, "Oh yeah, these stupid Americans, they come over, they just want to buy everything. This is going to be another, we've
Yeah,
been
like
brought
the
up
Glaciers,
before," and,
the
yeah, exactly.
Tampa
the
Bay.
Glazers
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Men United. Yeah.
And then you got these other people are like, "Oh yeah, what could have hurt? Let's pour money in." And I love Deadpool, and this will be fun if nothing else or whatever.
But if you've never got into the if you don't understand or know the culture of kind of English soccer and how it works, it's a great documentary because they explain how the tier system works. You see the fans and how they cheer, and they make songs about players, and they're singing the whole time during the games. It's kind of
Sounds
cool.
like Blood Bowl.
It's cool.
they keep their shirts on though.
What's the title of this one?
Welcome to Wrexham.
Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah.
Wrexham.
WREXHAM. Wrexham.
All right, I'm gonna put that on the Hulu watch list.
It's
I
a
know
good
right now my
watch.
Hulu's focused on Only Murders in the Building,
That's good. Yeah.
which is it's fun. I think only 3 seasons though. Is
Yeah.
what they're
It's
at.
on season 3 now.
So
yeah.
we're just wrapping up season 2.
Yeah.
I've been listening on Audible to Team Yankee. It's like an 80s novel. Team Yankee is World War III happened. So the Soviet Union, along with Poland, got together and invaded Western Germany and are trying to take over. And so NATO versus Soviet Union, kind of like what if World War III happened?
War games.
That's what it feels like. Beans and Dice Podcast, state your name. Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, it's Chris from Austin. How y'all doing?
Oh, hey Chris, how are you?
Hey man.
Hello, Chris.
How's it
We're
going,
talking all kinds of geeky goodness. What do you got going on?
Well, I'm going to throw into the discussion a TV show I've been watching for since the first season or on season 2. Have y'all seen Star Trek Strange New Worlds?
We touched on it. Wayne's been watching it. I have not. I'm trying to finish Picard. I've got about 6 or 7 episodes of Picard left, and then I'm jumping over to Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds is the best Star Trek in a long time.
It is. I actually think it's the best since Next Generation, which is still my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's a huge
just
gap,
amazing.
bro.
We just-
It's
Next
really
Generation
good.
was.
I know.
Like you,
And
you
Yes,
just
yeah.
threw into the toilet like 7 or 8 different series.
Yeah,
No,
pretty much.
but they're all good.
It's
It's
that
just
good.
this one is that
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah.
Strange New Worlds. Is that Paramount only? Is there another way to get it? Because right now I'm not on Paramount.
Well, they are showing it live on because of the strike. They're actually showing it on what not NBC, ABC, whatever the
CBS.
Peacock, CBS. There we go. So a lot of the network shows are showing the streaming things on network TV now because of the writer's strike. So you can see it that way.
I'm itching. Like I've been watching Star Trek movies. So I watched. I think this past month watched the original Khan movie. I don't remember what the number it
Wrath of
was.
Khan.
Wrath of Khan.
Mhm.
And then
3 maybe?
this week alone, I've watched 2 Star Trek movies: the 2009 and the 13 one.
Okay, the two newer ones.
The two new like reboots. So I have been itching for some Star Trek, especially since Star Trek has been in the gaming news because Away Missions, the board game, along with the new miniature war game,
X-Wing like one.
yeah, that's coming out, the miniature war gaming one. So it's kind of got my Star Trek,
Juices flowing.
Yes. And so all right, I'm gonna have to find Strange New Worlds. Because that's the thing is, there's been so many series since DS9, which is my favorite, since Deep Space Nine. I didn't know which one in between that and now would be a good one to start with.
Captain Pike.
Wait, the Strange New Worlds is about Captain Pike?
Yeah, it's Captain Pike. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So you meet a young Uhura, you meet a young Spock.
Yeah,
you're meeting some of the young characters. You even meet a young Kirk at some point too. So yeah, it's really good. It's Go ahead, Chris. What do you think? Give us some more on that.
Well, I was going to say Deep Space Nine was my next favorite after Next Generation. So I totally agree with that. And then I saw Strange New Worlds, and I was just blown away. The production value, the fact that they bring a lot of old school Star Trek feel to it with more of a modern look is something I really enjoy about it. And then just the plot and everything, the action, it's very action-packed. This is a very good show. I mean, it's the Star Trek I've been waiting for a long time.
It's like that original Star Trek from the 60s, but with a modern spin. Like they're bringing a lot of the plots and stories from that original Star Trek series and just kind of redoing them or giving you the background on the story. Because in the original series, it's Kirk's already in charge. So you have you hear about the things that Pike did. Well, now you get to see it. And that's what's cool about it.
Maybe I'll wait for when Yellowstone hits again, because that way I can subscribe for the month.
I got to get on that still.
And watch them all, together. But I'm hearing that Yellowstone's going to be delayed.
Did you watch Hell on Wheels?
I did.
Okay, so really the main actor in Hell on Wheels is Captain Pike.
Okay, that was a great series. Hell on Wheels. I love Civil War era.
Yeah,
that's post Civil War Trans-American Railroad. What other geeky goodness are you into, Chris? Like, and that's the thing is, like, as gamers, we don't just live in the board game world. Like, we have other hobbies and other things.
Some of us.
You've been a regular caller. What are the geeky things you're into?
Well, I'm in a small group that's just sci-fi. So, like, people from my church, we do like a Zoom small group. So we just watch different sci-fi episodes on Zoom, and I just stream from my computer. And then we just talk about it, and it's awesome. And that's why we're watching Strange New Worlds. Yeah.
Watch party.
So start.
yeah,
watch party, exactly. And so
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna ask my church for like Sunday morning. We want our own room and like popcorn and projector.
We're gonna watch sci-fi and geeky stuff.
Yeah.
But then we'll talk about it. We'll get theological on it.
No. We do though. We've gotten theological on a lot of episodes. It's been really cool. But we meet on like Wednesday nights. It's every other Wednesday, and we just watched some great shows. We watched Loki. That was the ones we watched on Disney Plus, and that was interesting. It's very different. I don't know if you guys have seen Loki on Disney Plus.
Love that.
Yep. Watched the first season. Is the second season out yet? No, it's not
supposed
out
to be coming out soon.
Yeah,
coming out next month.
Yeah, I'm excited. 2 weeks or something.
Is it really? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and that's where when I go to DragonCon every year, that the Hyatt in downtown Atlanta is where they shot all of Loki. So that whole hotel is like, it's gorgeous. Love it.
Cool.
That's interesting. A sci-fi watch party small group.
So that's got you thinking, huh? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm that guy that would want to talk.
No.
I would irritate Robert.
Shut up, Carlos.
Because like when we go to the movies together, I'm like, hey, Rob, I bet he's gonna. And like,
shut up, I'm watching.
Well, we chat. So we chat. So we just jump in the Zoom chat and we're just posting whatever we want in there, and then we're laughing and. Oh man, what was the thing we broke up on the other day? We're watching. Let's see, it's not Mandalorian. No, it is Mandalorian. We're watching Mandalorian season 3, which I've seen, but I'm watching it in the group as well. We're alternating between Strange New Worlds and Mandalorian season 3. Well, this one episode has this guy. Have y'all seen? I don't want to try to spoil too much. Have y'all seen Mandalorian season 3 yet?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not spoiling anything. So, do y'all remember the pirate lord who was like basically in control of his fleet, and then he goes attacking the planet Navara, and he's got his big ship, and he's sending out his little fighters and stuff like that. And
Yep.
he's like a pirate.
Yeah, he's got
Anyway,
that
he's the
whole
commander.
what's the word I'm looking for? Almost
The
like
Pirates
a
of the
Blackbeard,
Caribbean.
Pirates of the
Yeah.
Caribbean feel to it, kind of a mutant-y,
Yeah.
Cthulhu-ish with the beard thing going.
Yep. So in the chat, one of the guys in the group said, as soon as he saw him, oh, it's Captain Kale. We just all started cracking up
There you
because he
go.
looks like a salad. And so we started just making salad references and like, I'd like some ranch dressing on that shit, or and so it's that kind of dialogue that you can have in that setting, and then you're not interrupting the presentation, but you can still chat. It's
What was that?
pretty cool.
Sci-Fi Theater 3000 or
Sci-Fi
something?
3000, yeah.
The three of y'all at the bottom of the
Yeah.
theater just like cracking jokes. That's a
funny.
great hobby to share. I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
Well,
I got my commission from Sorry We Are French this week.
I was
so
gonna
appreciate
ask.
that.
Did you get your
So,
check in the mail?
Yeah, I did. I've sold 3 copies in the last 2 weeks. So
Nice.
I'm just kidding.
You weren't kidding though. I think you said your wife gave it a 9 out of 10. I know my wife asked to play it again. I think she's played 3 times with me now. We're just talking in just the last few days.
Wow, that's awesome.
What do you got next? Like, come on, first one.
Need your next hit?
Well, I've been thinking about a few different topics, but one of them that just came to mind is 2-player head-to-head games. I know, Carlos, one that you really like, but do y'all have some favorite 2-player head-to-head games that you like to play? Or do you not even like 2-player head-to-head?
Oh yeah.
Seven Wonders Duel. We used to play a lot of Seven Wonders Duel. Carlos and I, we'd take that around with us and play it we played it at the sports bar. We played it at
Work.
Yeah, work.
A lot of
We used to
work.
play it at work. We were working together. Yeah.
See,
So that was
Lost Cities, Jaipur.
Lost Cities is a great one. Mhm.
Jaipur.
Oh, I've been wanting Jaipur. I've been wanting to play that.
Targi, Hive,
Target's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Santorini.
If I've got table space, Undaunted.
Yeah,
right
that's a
up
good one.
there.
Yeah.
Many Memoir 44.
I would. It's Memoir's top of my list,
Any
like
Command
in
and
the
Colors?
top 3 of my favorite games.
Yeah.
But it's just so much setup, so much table space. Right. It's just hard to get to the table.
But yeah, I
Those are good picks.
love I taught Targi to to Rob at Dice
Rob.
Tower East. Rob, sorry, my brain.
good?
So yeah, Jaipur, Targi, Lost Cities. Those are like the 3 that I just rotate with my buddy all the time. We play them on BGA when we're not together, but when we get together, those are definitely ones we crank out every time.
Oh, and what's the I'm drawing a blank. The Japanese theme geishas.
Hanamakoji. That's another
Hanamakoji
one.
is a really
Hanamakoji.
good one.
That's
Yeah.
a really good one. That's an awesome one too. That's another one I got. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, Jaipur is one I play with my son and my wife. That one's definitely a solid 2-player. My son and my wife both like that one. The one, I'll tell you another one. I don't know if you guys play this one, but Dice Throne is my son's favorite game.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much in my whole collection. He loves that game.
That's a good one. I've only actually played it twice, but man, yeah, I've seen tons of it played. People love it, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of dice, a lot of luck for me. But
Right.
But it's a good game. Yeah.
It's like the way I liken it is, it's if I'm gonna play King of Tokyo, but with only 2 players, I'm gonna bust out Dice Throne.
Makes sense.
Like King of Tokyo at 2 isn't great, but Dice Throne gives you that same feel with more complexity.
Yeah.
Then I think Dice Throne,
Okay.
but then I see Dice Throne, and I'm like, why
Mm-hmm.
not Unmatched? I don't know. Like I struggle with that because Unmatched gives me more
Interesting.
control.
A lot of setup. Obviously way different theme, but yeah.
I mean, well, all the Marvel stuff now, it's like I see Unmatched Marvel, and I think Dice Throne Marvel. They're both head to head.
Yeah.
They're both, they both can be 2 to 4 players. I think.
Yeah.
Because we played multiplayer Dice Throne, and that left a bad taste in my
Yeah, I
mouth.
wasn't crazy about the multiplayer.
No.
And teaming up on
It's not
people.
very
And,
good.
yeah.
But it wasn't even teaming up; it was full rando. Like,
Oh yeah,
like
Oh,
you
the
had to
last-
roll a die and
Right.
it told you who got
There's
the
that version.
hit.
They did that because they didn't because of the other way again is to have people teaming up on people, taking people out one at a time or whatever. That's no fun.
Which
either,
kind of made me
so-
say unmatched is a better system if you're
Yeah.
gonna. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna knock. I'm not here to give the negatives. They're all good.
Yeah.
You had another
And
one,
then a
Chris?
couple other ones. Yeah, this one I used to play all the time was Dice Masters. And I used to do tournaments.
Oh,
with it.
yeah.
Y'all ever get into Dice Masters?
Robert and I have played was it the Marvel Dice Masters?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because wasn't it
That
the
was
same
fun.
people
I
that did the Couriers or
I think it might have been.
and
Yeah.
it was designed by Eric Lang and
Was that Eric Lang?
Company same.
Sounds right.
Eric Lang designed it. Yeah. and
I still have
Couriers.
my copy in the garage. I'm gonna have to
Whiz
bust it
Kid.
out.
Yeah, I've never.
It
played
was Whiz Kids.
I never played Couriers. I've seen it all over the place, but never played it.
But did he also do the Dice Masters series?
Yeah, he did. That's why I think it's such a good game. I like his design for the most part.
He's sneaky. He's sneaky that way.
Yeah.
It's amazing all the different
Mhm.
companies he's worked for. Now, Wayne, are you
I
familiar
know,
with
that's
Dice
funny.
Masters?
No, I never gave that one a try.
It was I used to have my Plano tackle box filled with all kinds of different dice. Every card represented a different character. Every character had a different set of dice. You would be adding those dice to your pool, rolling them to cancel each other's effects. It was a fun. I think we even played that at what was that? Gators Dockside. Back when that used to be open, it was
right
a
on,
chicken
right
wing
on,
place.
on
Took me
USF,
there. Yeah.
right on
Yeah.
Fowler
Yeah.
Avenue, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good
Yep,
one.
yep, yep.
They had
That's
good wings
how,
there,
that's
man.
how long ago that was. That's how long
That's
ago.
some good
Robert and I
wings.
played that over some ribs and chicken wings.
Yep.
Those poor dice, they got slathered.
That the gator bites, man.
All right, I
Gator
got
tail.
one more question for you guys if you have a minute here.
Bring it.
So this next question is hidden gems. And I'm gonna define a hidden gem as something outside of. I almost wanted to say outside of the Board Game Geek 500. Let's just go with that because I don't want to go too far out. So say outside of the Board Game Geek 500, it would probably be one category and then another category would be outside of the 1,000. So if you can pick maybe like one with outside of the 500 and then one outside of the 1,000.
We all pull up our
We gotta pull
phones.
up our, yeah,
Yeah.
Think
our
about that.
collections and our rankings and yeah. I mean,
I'm
that's
trying to
off the
think.
top of your head. That's a tough one.
Yeah, you know what?
Got a
I'm going to
few,
limit
but
it.
I'm not
I'm
sure
going to
if
look
they're
at my.
outside the 500.
I'm going to look at my collection and sort by the rank and see.
So, okay, so we're gonna go with
And it could just be
we're going
whatever
with
you define a hidden gem at. So you guys determine what a hidden gem
no.
is.
I like the
You that
ranking.
up.
I like the
Didn't
ranking
you?
question.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So the first one I thought of. Nope, that was not with outside the 5.
Yes, I'm just going to go down my list. I don't know how to sort them here by ranking, but yeah.
Yeah, let me see.
I got another one in mind. Let me try it.
It's Aladdin's Dragons. Let me see. Hold on.
I
The
guess
other
the
thing, too,
games
is,
I
like,
think are
is it in
underrated really
print?
aren't as underrated as I think they're underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see what this one's rated.
Well,
Here we go.
anything
Overall-
outside of
overall-
1,000, you know.
So I got one that's 50 overall 1,500, and
Okay.
it's called Aladdin's Dragons. It's actually out of print, but they just reprinted it as Kedem's Dragons. It was actually Richard Breese's first game before he got into naming everything Kedem, key this, key that, whatever. So it was his first game, and it's kind of like a hidden auction game where you're working your way through sort of the Aladdin world of Aladdin, and you're bidding on different spaces to get spells or access, and you're trying to get treasures. It's just a fairly high production value for an older game. It came out in 2000, so you're talking about a 23-year-old game, and it has several reprints. So that one, it's ranked 1,508 overall. So that's a pretty good one. If you can find the newer copy. And like I said, it just got reprinted as Kedem's Dragons, or they had a Kickstarter for it recently, I think. So that one's out there.
Man, no, all the games that I think are underrated are actually in the 500, so they're not underrated. They're pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm having trouble finding it
Rob?
on my phone app. I don't know. Baseball highlights. What's that rated, Carlos? Do you know?
No, that's going to be in the top. That
Oh,
better
yeah.
be.
High.
Is it
That's
high?
a
That
high
better
one,
be.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that might be.
I can throw one in the pot if you guys want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
what
go
we're
for it.
looking
Yeah,
at.
give us time.
So outside of the top 1,000, for me, it's Lockup or Role Player Tale. I just like that game. It's a neat game. Have y'all played that one?
I have not yet. I know it. I know of it, but I haven't played it. I know I like Role player, quite a lot, but I haven't got to that one.
So we're talking out of the top. Is it
That's
500
a-
or 1,000? Is that what we're doing?
Oh, he's
1,000?
challenging
Let's
us.
do out of the 1,000. Out of the 1,000, yeah.
All right, let's see.
What page
We
is that?
can
Like
still
page
do outside
13
of the
ranking?
500 if you want to pick
10.
one of each. Yeah, I mean, you could pick, but I think outside of the 1,000 is really a hidden gem, and then maybe outside of the 500 if you want to just throw one into the mix as well.
God, why does Caesar Rome have to be 998?
Oh,
Yeah, you got me beat. The next game
Well.
I was gonna pick is 930.
Hang on, I just got to where. Okay. I'm where I need to be.
I don't have a computer. I'm trying to do this on my phone and it's not working.
All right. Well, Rob, you can look at my screen here. Okay, so just going through. Okay, I'm surprised.
Go for 1,000
Cockroach
up.
poker under 1,000. I'm surprised. That should be higher. Greater than 1,000. Hang on. Oh, you know what? Hey, that's my fish. Wow, that's a good one.
That's-
Rallyman
'cause the
GT
name
at
on it.
1,070.
I'm not surprised. Rallyman, it's a good racing game, but it really has some quirks.
Oh, here we go. Tortoise and the Hare, 1,076. Tails and Games, Tortoise and Hare. That's a really underrated kind of game that is
Oh,
light
yeah,
that you can
I've
play
heard
with
of that one.
kids, and that's one I like. My Big Book of Madness is right in there too. That's a good one.
We'll give this.
Well, all of you after tonight can say in the footsteps of Darwin because it's 3,700.
What?
we gotta fix
I
that.
we haven't rated
that's
it yet.
garbage.
Once we rate it, it'll go
Yeah,
right
it's
up
brand
there.
new. Yeah.
Well, that's why we're here. We're going to get it up in the ratings. We're just going to talk about it, and everyone's going to rank it
Every
higher.
week we're
Or
gonna bring it
get
up.
more rankings, right? Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Coconuts. Coconut. I love that game.
It's crazy how many games are out there now. That some of these games that I'm scrolling through in the thousands are where they are.
Well, you think about 1,000
Yeah.
games, and they're coming out with 5,000 or 6,000 or 7,000 games a year, and so this is all time. So if your game is in the top 1,000, or even if your game's in the top 2,500, you're still, I mean, what are there, 30 or 40,000 games, 50,000 games in this database? So
Oh,
if you're in
yeah.
the top 2,000, you're in the
Well,
top
they put
10,
three.
10%.
They put 3 Gloomhaven games in the top 100. So I mean, that's just 3 entries for Gloomhaven.
That's not right.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. But yeah, they are different technically, but they're so similar. I mean, it's like a second edition, third edition, almost the game.
Well, Challengers is already up there. I can't believe that's already that high.
Challengers is in
Yeah.
the thousands already.
I
I don't know how BJ calls it his #1 game
Yeah.
played this year.
That's
Have you played that Challengers yet, Chris?
No, I haven't. What's that about?
So it's like an auto. It's like a.
It's Auto Battler.
Okay, there it is. Okay,
we just found out
I got
for
my
both
answer.
of us have got our answer here. It's the same answer, but
Maglev Metro
Maglev
does
Metro.
not belong
Yeah, there's no
outside
way.
the top 1,000.
That's-
This is wrong.
That's a
Oh,
crime.
there you go. Yeah,
Oh, that's a good game. Yeah,
that
that's
is
a
a
good game.
good one. Yeah.
that's
That's
a
my
real good
final
game.
answer. I'm done scrolling. Like nothing else has stood out to me like that.
Yeah.
It
Maglev.
was hard, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's hard.
What was it all the way at the top here? What was the theme park, the robot theme park one? What's that one called?
Steam Park, I think it is.
Steam Park.
Yeah, Steam
Steam
Park
Park.
was all the way at the top of the whatever we're at here. Where was that? Right
1202.
there. 1202. That's a good game.
That's
I
a
don't know-
good game.
Yeah, I don't know.
That
if-
one has not gotten a lot of love. It has fallen off. It's still on my shelf. I haven't played it in years.
That's a fun one. It's got a real-time aspect to it, I guess, that a lot of people don't like. There's a kind of like that race to collect your
rolling,
to roll
yeah,
your
the
dice.
rolling,
Yeah. And so I'm sure that turns some people off, but I usually don't like that kind of thing. But I like Steam Park quite a bit, and my kids played it when they were fairly young and liked it. So yeah, I like that one.
And Challengers is in here somewhere in the 1200s, in the early 1200s.
Yeah, it's a new game.
It's a new title, and I think it won.
Spiel?
Yeah,
One of the
Yeah,
spiels.
one of the
yeah.
spiels.
I
No, but
don't get it.
it's a game where you're deck building
builder,
in
yeah.
between rounds, tournament style. So it is like a tournament style game where the most winner person is going to place the other most winner person
yeah.
for a final battle after a certain number of rounds. And you're adding cards to your deck in between rounds. You're buying cards and culling cards to kind of make that deck efficient, but you have no control during the gameplay. During the gameplay, you're literally just flopping the top card
Yep.
and then comparing against the opponents
Kinda
to
like
try to
war.
figure out, almost like war.
Yeah.
You have no control. You're building your deck and just kind of hoping it pans out for you
Some of the cards have abilities and powers on them. If there's a bench, I guess, as your players get eliminated, your cards go up to a bench area.
When your bench is full, you lose the game.
And then there's cards that say, like, if you have X card on your bench, this card becomes a +2 or whatever. And so you play a card and it stays out there, and your opponent keeps flipping cards until they can beat that total. When they beat that total, your card goes to the bench, and then their total stays out there. Once you flip enough cards or enough numbers to beat theirs, then all those cards go to their bench. And then, like I say, like Carlos said, when one person's bench fills up, they lose. And you get awards. There's a progression in it. The early rounds are worth fewer points, but as you go deeper into the tournament, the later rounds become worth more and more points. But then the top players are facing off, the bottom players are facing off. So everybody kind of stays engaged for each round of the quote-unquote tournament. So,
All right.
So it's interesting. It's not my kind of game. I know BJ on Board Game Gumbo has been raving about it for months now, and he likes it a lot. Like I say, he put it at the top of #1 game he's played this year. I've played it on BGA a couple of times now.
I think we have to play it in real time.
I
think it loses so much on BGA. I'm not just playing on BGA. I'm not interested in the game at all. But I will.
Half the game plays itself on BGA. Once you build your deck, you just hit a button and everybody watches the cards flop. So yeah.
How in God's name is Fox in the Forest Duet ranked higher than Maglev Metro?
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is
It's been out longer.
Yeah.
It's been out longer, I think. That's why.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
you
my
see,
answer.
like, games
I don't know.
that just came out that are already higher than older games.
Yeah, that's crazy too. Sometimes.
Well, my #1 hidden gem, I'm looking at my top 50 list, is still Shelby Stacker, which I mentioned last week.
Yep.
By Shin Phillips, because it's rated 4320. So it's the lowest ranked game on my top 50 list.
Wow.
4320. And I think it's just because it's so hard to get. I mean, you can't buy it. It's out of print, sort of. It says that they're going to get more copies, but you have to get put out the secondhand market. So I think that's one of the reasons it's fallen.
He didn't publish that one he didn't publish that one, right? Through Garfield?
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe that's part of it. He did it through Arcus Games. I don't know why.
Maybe because it just doesn't match
Garfield.
the catalog.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
maybe.
some companies
Sure.
really want to keep a catalog that is similar.
Certain kind
Yeah,
of
so
themes.
he's
certain
got
kind of
his
thing, yeah.
trilogies, and he wants to stick with that, and that's it, right?
Could be.
And that'll replace Azul for Carlos. It'll totally destroy Azul.
No, the fact
Really?
that it's not in print
For
has
Carlos.
kept me from buying it. But let me tell you,
Yeah.
I've looked at that buy list on BGG over and over again. I see that American copy, new in good condition. You know, I think it's like $35 or something plus shipping.
I
I've
got
thought about it.
I got my definite underrated game.
Okay.
Ranked 1588, Chocolate Factory.
Whoa.
No way.
I can see that.
Oh.
That's a great
I like
game.
Chocolate Factory, but I wouldn't put it up there real high. I don't know. It deserves to be the top 1,000 probably.
It stayed on my top 20 for a long time.
yeah.
That's the one that I've come across. I'm like, man, that's crazy low.
That's a good one. Yeah,
That's
that's
really
a good
good.
one.
I'm
I don't think
playing a
I've
game of
ever-
that. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think I've ever scrolled this low in the rankings. Like
You know,
we always tend to get pushed into the top
yeah,
100s,
you're getting
the top
dregs down here.
500s.
Yeah, Kashgar, Disney
No.
Villainous. Come on.
I
Yeah,
keep you guys on your toes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
it's all good. I like it. Yeah.
Making us think.
I'm playing a game of Chocolate Factory right now on BGA with Sam and I think Diego, and I'm at I'm over 100, I'm in whatever, and then I'm looking at their boards and I'm like, why do you guys have 40 and 50 cold? Do you not know how to play this game?
Oh,
And they're like,
wow.
yeah, we kind of don't know how. I'm like, oh well, you should have told me. I would have taught you how to play. 'cause I
Use
love this
that
game."
coal. Yeah. Cool.
All right. We appreciate your
Yeah.
call, Chris. We thank you for the content
Yeah, making us think again.
and the recommendations. I don't think you failed me yet.
It's always my pleasure. If I have any more, I will send them your way.
Yeah, we'll keep a lookout for Shelfie Stagger.
Sounds good. And if I see it before you do, I will definitely ping you guys in Discord.
Excellent. Do that.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
All right. Y'all have a good
Thanks,
one.
Chris. Have a good night.
Appreciate
Good night.
Thanks,
you.
Chris.
Bye-bye.
All right. That got us to the 11 o'clock hour.
Woo.
There we
Man,
go.
I'm seeing some good titles in these 1600s.
I know it's
now.
crazy.
I've seen some mediocre titles, but
Oh.
I haven't seen
This
a lot
guy.
of good ones. But
Century Golem Edition. Come on, that's great.
Draftosaurus was in the thousands.
Draftosaurus?
Draft
Yeah.
These
It was
people
like
on BGG don't know
1100 or
what they're
something.
doing.
Thanos Rising. That was pretty good.
You know what the problem is? It's
There's
who
a
was talking
1,000 games
about
out there,
this?
man. It's hard.
Yeah.
all
it was
hype
Luke Hector
wagon.
again, another Luke
Yeah.
Hector podcast. He was talking about the skewing on BGG.
Don't do
Like,
the
Yeah.
accent again.
I won't do the
Come on,
accent
I've
again.
ranted on that a lot. You gotta talk a
Right,
British
the-
accent, yeah.
If it isn't a 2-3 hour heavy Euro, it's not making it to the top of the BGG chart.
Or if it just
Yeah.
doesn't get hyped, if it doesn't get hyped by all the
Yeah.
content creators or by winning awards and those kind of things, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many good games out there that just get buried, get lost in the shuffle.
All right, folks, that's all I had. What do you guys got for the folks at home?
That's all I got. I'm good. I'm
That's
getting
it,
ready.
yeah.
I'm all packed up for my gaming weekend. So
I think this weekend we're gonna visit.
Oh yeah,
on
we got to talk
Sunday.
about that a little bit. Yeah, Huracan.
We're gonna go
Or-
visit Huracan.
Yeah, that's going on now. Actually, I think I saw a post today. They said it's kicked off. It's going well, so it must have started today. Is it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
I believe so. I think it was Wednesday night through Sunday.
Okay, so this will be my first wargaming convention. So Carlos will have to go easy on me here, but show me the ropes, show me where all the old white guys stand, and yeah, yep, something like that. But
Rob's gonna fit right
right,
in.
that would be perfect there. Yeah, perfect. But yeah, we're doing that. I'm going to Disney all day Saturday with the family, and then so I'll already be in Orlando. You're gonna drive over Sunday morning?
That's kind of the plan.
Okay.
You'll be there Saturday.
Yeah. Yep,
Okay.
yep. I'll be there we're doing Epcot all day Saturday, so we'll be at Epcot, and then I don't know if I'm going to spend the night there or come back, but we'll figure it out.
All right, so that's going to be us. We'll report back next week
Yeah.
on visiting Huracan.
Looking forward to it.
Historical Miniature Wargaming Society. Thanks to Dominic for getting us some passes to go check it out and introduce Rob to that.
As always,
Yep.
yeah.
And I'm going to be at Necronomicon here in Tampa. So
There you go. I got
Reporting
to check
back
that out
next
one of
week.
these years. Yeah, it's
Right here, it's right down the road.
yeah, maybe Huracan this year, maybe Necronomicon next year. Wayne can take me and show me the ropes over there.
I didn't realize that they were on the same weekend.
Yeah.
Different-ish crowds.
Yeah, I mean, there's a gaming room that I sit in most of the time, and it's like not gaming only. It's horror, and they have a movie thing, and they have some panels, and so it's kind of like a very mini kind of convention. It's like 700-800 people, or maybe over 1,000 by this point. Who knows? It used to be like 1,500 to 2,000 when it was in St. Pete, but then they
I
lost.
DJ'd a
its
bar
ground.
mitzvah there at that hotel.
Yeah, but it's good. It's right at USF, right on USF campus, the Embassy Suites. So I'll be there all weekend drinking and gaming. So it'll be fun.
Nice.
All right, well, folks, that'll wrap us up for this evening. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to say God bless you and your families, and please, prayers for mine. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Wayne.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
We will catch you all next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Or good morning,
Yeah, Edmund.
Edmund.